Good day everyone. For today, I'm going to discuss about the gross income, its items, concepts, and exclusions. So first, let us define about income, taxable income, and income tax. So income, all wealth flows into the taxpayer other than a mere return of capital. It includes the forms of income specifically described as gains derived from the sale or other disposition of the capital. So here, it is not just a mere return of capital. So it means when you buy a property and you sell it at its cost, it means you don't earn an income. So it's just only a mere return of capital. So for tax purposes, income is defined as the amount of money coming to a person or corporation within the specified time, whether as payment for services, interest, or profits for investments like earnings, whether lawful or not, express or implied. So here, for tax purposes, as long as you earn an income, it must be included in your gross income, whether it came from lawful or illegal activities. As long as you earn an income, it must be included in your gross income. However, if you're going to include it as a taxable gross income, general rule, all of your income must be included on your taxable gross income. However, if there is a specific provisions of tax laws na nagsasabi na exempted siya or excluded siya sa gross income, yun. So, hindi siya dapat isama sa gross income. Pero, general rule, lahat ng income mo that came from whether legal or came from illegal activities or legal activities, whether express or implied, it must be included on your gross income. Unless nga, sabi ko kanina, merong provision ng tax doon na sasabi na exempted siya o kaya kailangan exclude. So, next, definition. So, taxable income refers to the pertinent items of gross income specified in the code, less deductions, for any authorized for such types of income by the code or other special laws. So here, the taxable income will be the base where you are going to compute your tax payable or tax due. So if your taxable income, di ba? When you say taxable income, yung mga gross income is specified in the code. At the same time, yung taxable income can be considered as the same as taxable net income kasi nga less deductions dito. So, the simple formula in computing the taxable net income or taxable income is taxable gross income less allowable deduction equals taxable net income. So the taxable net income, as what I said earlier, will going to be your taxable base. So yung taxable income na yan, ititingnan mo yung range dun sa graduated tax rates, yung range niya na kung saan pasok siyang tax rates. Then after that, yung makuha mo na kagad yung tax rate, then i-multiply mo dun sa taxable net income, makuha mo na yung tax payable or tax due o yung income tax payable. No? So, yan, mas ma-appreciate nyo pa yan once na napunta tayo sa topic na individual. Doon ko mas tuturo yan. So, here, next definition is income tax. So, referred to as tax on all yearly profits arising from property, professions, trades, or offices, or as a tax on a person's income, emoluments, profits, and the likes. So, yun, dito, yung taxable net income yan, multiply na yun ng specific tax rates na nakinapasok dun sa range ng taxable income dun sa graduated tax rates natin. So, yun, makuha mo na agad yung income tax. Now, after computing the income tax, if you have other tax credits, diba, yung mga tax credits na yan, ang example niyan is yung mga withholding tax sa compensation income, yan, na kung saan yung withholding tax na yon, si employer, withhold din yung tax na yon, tapos yun na yung nag-remit. So, at the end of the year, gumawa siya ng income tax return para sa iyo, then pipirmahan mo na lang po siya. Then, however, if you have other income, diba? Like, for example, business income. So, lahat ng income mo, magpa-file ka uli ng ITR. Kasi lahat ng income, isasama mo na doon. Then, after consolidating all of your income, then you already computed your income tax payable, diba? Yung withholding tax, yung sa compensation income mo, or other income na merong withholding tax, pwede mo siyang i-less dun sa income tax payable mo. Yan yung creditable withholding tax, diba? So, yun. So, once na, bakit kailangan i-minus yung mga creditable withholding tax dun sa income tax payable mo? Kasi nga po, diba, yung gross income mo, included na dun yung lahat ng income na na-earn mo na taxable, diba? So, after computing the income tax payable, if you're not going to deduct those with creditable withholding tax or those tax credits, diba, nadoble na yung bayad mo. So, yung na-withhold ng tax na sa'yo, yun yung pauna mong bayad. So, kailangan i-deduct na po natin yun kasi a portion of your income tax payable is some of them are already been paid. Diba? So, kung bayad na po yun, kasi nga na-withhold na sa'yo, i-minus na po natin yun. So, ang dapat bayaran lang natin ay yung income tax payable na hindi pa po natin nababayaran. No? So, okay, next. Classification of income tax. So, in the Philippines, our income tax is classified into 4. First, a national tax. Diba? National tax kasi sa buong bansa, diba, pinapatawang income tax. Tama. So, an excise tax, bakit? Diba, excise tax, it means the government are giving you the rights or privilege, diba? Like, for example, in seeking for a job, diba, sa pagkatrabaho, sa pagkakaroon ng occupation, diba, privilege mo yan. So, kung privilege yan, dapat si government maaari magpataw ng buwis, which is yung mga income tax. So, bakit next is direct tax? Direct tax siya kasi nga, ang nagbabayad mismo po ay yung taxpayer. Kung sino po yung nag-earn ng income, siya yung mismo magbabayad. So, kung itatanin nyo regarding sa withholding tax, yung regarding sa compensation income, bakit daw parang hindi siya direct tax? No. Withholding tax, diba, most especially withholding tax on income, on compensation income, is a direct tax, diba? Opo, kasi ang natatanggap na ng sweldo ng mga empleyado is net of income tax or withholding tax. Net of withholding tax. So, yun, kapag purely compensation income kasi ikaw, there is no need for you to file a separate income tax return. Ang magpa-file po na income tax return po ay si employer kasi po siya yung nag-withhold ng tax na yun. So, ang gagawin na lang, i-confirm mo nila at the end of the taxable year kung tama ba talaga yung nailagay doon sa ITR mo. Then, pipirmahan mo po siya. Then, after that, yun, ang magpa-file na po ng employer, then, yung withhold niyang tax sa'yo, i-remit niya kay DIR. So, as you can see, di ba, you will notice na parang hindi siya direct tax. No, kasi nga, hindi naman, direct tax siya kasi nga, mismo ang nagbayad ikaw, ang nag-withhold na si employer, pero dineduct doon sa mismo sweldo mo yun. So, it must be considered as direct tax. So, next, general tax. So, general tax kasi yan yung sa lahat ng uri ng tax, yung income tax ay isa sa mga one of the sources of income by the government. Kaya po general tax yan. So next, classification ng income taxpayers. So, income taxpayers may be classified into 4. Into 4 yan. So first muna is individual. So, a natural person, whether Filipino citizens or not, and whether resident or non-resident of the Philippines. So So, here we have, for tax purposes, we have 5 individuals. So, first, resident citizen. Next, resident alien. Next, non-resident citizen. Next, resident alien. Next, non-resident alien not engaged to business. Last is, non-resident alien engaged to business. So, those 5 individuals, mas mapapag-aaralan pa po natin yan once na pumunta na po dun tayo sa topic ng mga individual taxpayers. Okay? So, next, letter B. Corporation includes partnership no matter how created or organized, joint stock companies, joint accounts, associations, or insurance companies, but does not include general professional partnerships and a joint venture or consortium formed for the purpose of undertaking a construction project or engaging in petroleum, geothermal, and other energy operations pursuant to an operating and consortium agreement under a service contract with the government. So here, for tax purposes, yung corporation po, partnerships, yung mga joint, partnership corporations and other related mga organizations, diba, considered as corporation. So, kung paano po kinukompute ang tax ng corporation, ganun din po kinukompute ang partnerships. Diba? However, sa partnership po, there are 2 kinds of partnership, which is general professional partnership and ordinary partnership or business partnership. So, magkaiba po yung dalawa na yun. So, sa general professional partnership, diba, tinatax po yun, hindi siya katulad ng corporation regarding sa pagtatax, pagkuha ng income tax payable. So, si partnership po, included yung kung nakuha nilang net income, magiging net income distributable to partners. So, yun po, i-distribute po yun sa mga partners, then, kung magkano po yung net income na na-receive nila, patungkol sa share nila dun sa partnership, yun ay i-include sa income, sariling income tax return ng mga partners. Sarili pong bayad dyan. Separate filing po yan. Hindi na, at the same time, yung partnership itself will never file an income tax return of the company or the partnerships. Kasi nga, general professional partnership po yun. However, if you're going to compare it to ordinary or business partnership, kung paano po kinukuha yung income tax is the same with the corporation po. And also, other partnership or joint stock, joint accounts, association, insurance companies, diba? The GPP, ito ba diba nakakayad, but does not include GPP, as what I said earlier, and a joint venture or consortium formed for the purpose of undertaking a construction project or engaging in petroleum, geothermal, and other energy energy operations. So here, aside from GPP, exempted po siya sa income tax. However, yung net income distributable to partners, taxable po yan, pero sarili-sarili po silang file. Kanya-kanya kung magkano po na-receive. Halimbawa ni A, partner A, halimbawa 10,000, yung 10,000 pesos na yun, kailangang i-include sa income tax return ni partner A. Halimbawa, yung GPP is a partnership, a GPP, a general professional partnership. So, yung A partnership na yun, hindi na po kailangan or required na magbayad po ng income tax as a partnership. Kasi nga, yung net income distributable, yung net income kasi na earn yung partnership, automatic na po yan. At the end of the taxable year, distributable na po yan sa partners. So, yung net income na marireceive ng mga partners, kanya-kanya po yung kanya-kanya po yung filing. So, kailangan po i-include po yung sa gross income po ng bawat partners. So, here, yung joint venture or consortium po, exempted po din yan sa income tax. Kasi nga po, di ba, as long as there's a construction project on which engaging in geothermal, diba? Mga energy operations, diba? At the same time, under the service contract with the government, automatic na po yan ay hindi po taxable. However, kung hindi naman yan under service contract with the government, kahit ganyan yung purpose nung, or may construction project o yan yung purpose regarding sa energy operations, hindi po yan taxable. Ha? Kasi dapat under a service contract with the government. So, next, estate. So, here, all property, rights, and obligations of a person which are not extinguished by his death and also those which have accrued since the opening of the succession. To be subject to income tax, an estate must be under judicial settlement. Otherwise, it is not subject to income tax. So, here, there's what you call estate tax. No? Here's income tax, different po yung magkaiba po yung estate tax sa estate subject to income tax. Kasi po, ang estate tax, diba, all of the property rights and obligations of a persons, diba, which are not distinguished by his death. Oo. Which, diba, bago mai-transfer kasi yung mga property na yun, o lahat ng ari-arian na namatay, dun sa mga tagapagmana, o yung mga tagapagmana, kailangan muna pong bayaran yung estate tax. Sino po magbabayad ng estate tax? Yung estate, ay yung mga naiwan niyang ari-arian, doon po kuhain yung pambayad ng estate tax. No? So, ang pinagkaiba man dun sa estate subject to income tax, yun yung mga, kahit namatay na yung may-ari, dahil nga yung property, income generating, income generate, may income na generate o nakakapag-earn pa rin ng income kahit patay na yung may-ari. So, yun, subject to income tax. So, hindi na po dapat include sa estate. Oo, kasi nga, yun, subject siya sa estate. Estate subject to income tax. Lahat po ng nag-accrued since the opening of the succession, yan, na yung mga estate, di ba, na naiwan nung mga ari-alang naiwan nung namatay, di ba, yung mga nakapag-earn ng income, yan ay estate subject to income tax. O, yan yung pinagkaiba. So, huwag kayong malito regarding sa estate tax, tapos estate subject to income tax. So, talagang matandaan, yung estate tax, ang tinatax dyan, yung mga lahat ng ari-arian na naiwan nung namatay. Tama. Yung estate subject to income tax, yan yung ang tinataxan dyan, yung mga income na na-earn ng mga estates o yung mga ari-arian nung namatay na nag-accrue since the opening of the succession. Okay? So, next, trust. An arrangement created by will or an agreement under which properties pass to another for conservation or investment with the income therefrom and ultimately the corpus or principal to be distributed in accordance with the directions of the creator as expressed in the governing instrument. A taxable trust is an irrevocable trust, both as to corpus and income. So here, ang maganda example dito is, halimbawa, namatay yung si Mr. A, tapos may mga naiwang anak. Tapos yung mga naiwan niyang anak na tagapagmana is below 18 years old. So based on our law, di ba, kapag 18 years old, pag below 18 years old, hindi siya pwedeng makatanggap ng mana kasi nasa minor age pa, di ba? So, as a result, anong ginagawa? Usually, di ba, yung mga mayayaman, bago magkakaroon ng last will and testament, then, dahil nga, yung tagapagmana is below 18 years old, ang ginagawa, nagka-assign yung may-ari ng estate, bago siya mamatay, ng tagapagtiwala. So, trustee o trustor. Nalimutan ko, search ko. Okay. So, yung trustor, yun yung nag-a-assign ng trustee. Oo. Yung trustee naman, yun yung inassign na tagapag-tiwala. Oo. Siya muna yung magpapangalaga, ay may mag-aalaga dun sa hari-harian. Yun yung trustee. So, here, what they call this? Yun. So here, ang load, yun nga. So dahil nga yung tagapagmana, yung beneficiary is hindi pa, wala pa sa tamang gulang. So kailangan mag-assign ng trustees, yung trustor. So si trustees, yan, habang siya yung magmamanage ng lahat ng ari-arian. Diba? So, usually yung mga ari-ari ang iniiwan, sabihin natin, na nag-earn ng income. So, yung income na na-earn nung mga ari-arian na pinagkatiwala dun sa trustee, kailangan magbayad ng income tax. Yun nga. So, yun yung trusts subject to income tax. Yun. So, kailangan na dito, a taxable trust is an irrevocable trust, both as to corpus of income. So, when you say irrevocable, from the start, siya talaga yung trustee. No, hindi na pwedeng bago-baguhin. So, it means irrevocable trust na yun. Like, for example, si Mr. A, sa last will and testament niya, sabi niya, pag siya namatay, gusto niya ipagkatiwala muna yung mga ari-arian niya o yung estate niya sa kanyang asawa. Kasi yung ari-arian na yun ay sabi niya sa last will and testament niya ay dapat ang tagapagmana ay yung mga anak niya. However, yung mga anak niya is nasa murang gulang pa lang, below 18 years old. So, kaya ang ginawa niyang trustee ay yung asawa niya. So, yung sabihin natin, let's assume that some of the property are still earning income. So, yung income na earn dun sa ari-arian na pinagkatiwala dun sa asawa niya na dapat ipamana dun sa mga anak ay kailangang taksan, subject po yan sa income tax. No? Tapos, nilagay dun sa trust agreement, yung trust na yun is irrevocable. Sabihin, from the start, once na namatay siya, yung asawa niya talaga yung trustee, from the start hanggang maging 18 years old na yung mga anak, siya pa din. So, hindi na po yung mababago. So, yun yung tinatawag na irrevocable trust. So, taxable trust siya, both as to corpus, yung principal, and of course, income. So, here, yung principal, bakit kailangan taksan pa? Ang tinutukoy ko dito is yung what they call this? Usually, ang tinutukoy principal kapag binenta na yung ari-arian during the period na hindi pa ibibigay dun sa mga tagapagmana. So, income, taxable na talaga yan. So, next. General definition. Gross income is income derived from whatever sources, which means all income not expressly excluded or exempted from the class of taxable income, irrespective of the voluntary action of the taxpayer in producing the income. It includes but not limited to the following. So, ito na po yung mga example ng gross income. However, our tax code does not limiting all income that are taxable. Hindi po yan. As long as you earn an income, diba? Kung wala namang provision sa tax laws na sabi excluded yan o kaya exempted yan, automatic na po included po yan sa taxable gross income. Okay? So, whether the sources came from or derived from legal or illegal activities, automatic na po taxable po yan. So, like for example, sa isang problem, nakalagay doon, income derived from illegal activities o automatic na. Kailangan ilagay po natin yan sa gross income. Now, however, in a Sa totoong buhay po, hindi naman po talaga sinasabi yan ng taxpayer kasi nga, pag sinabi niya na yung income niya is na-earn niya sa illegal activities, automatic na pwedeng maging dahilan, diba, para investigahan siya. Diba? Kaya usually hindi naman talaga nilalagay po. Pero for tax purposes, dapat ilagay po talaga siya. Okay? So may isa-isahin po natin yan. So ito yung last. Partners distributive share from the net income of general professional partnership. So kinento ko na ito kanina, dinistas ko na, diba? Ang partnership is the same with the corporation for tax purposes. However, except for general professional partnership, diba? Yung general professional partnership kasi, ito, halimbawa, lahat ng CPA nag-usap-usap, then they decided to make a partnership. So, ang nature ng partnership na yun is to, para yung profession nila as a CPA, maipurso nila, diba? Kaya usually, mag-audit, ganyan, kaya mag-bookkeeping, so considered as general professional partnership, yung partnership na nag-create nila. So, yung net income na earn doon, hindi po taxable yan sa partnership. However, yung net income na i-distribute sa kanila, yung malamang, after the taxable year, yung net income na na-earn ng partnership, automatic naman na 100% i-distribute niya sa partners. So, yung i-distribute sa partners na net income, yun, taxable yun, included po yun sa income tax return ng bawat partners. So, halimbawa, 100,000 yung net income. Sabi natin, hati-hati, si A at B, nag-form ng GPP. So, 50% sila. So, 100,000. So, sa partnership, yung 100,000 na yun, hindi siya taxable. Wala siyang times 30%. Hindi siya taxable. Hindi na magbabayad si partnership ng tax. However, nung distribute na 50%, so, 50,000 si A at si B, yung 50,000 na yun, included yan sa income tax return ni A. Ganun din si B. Included po yan sa income tax return ni B. Kasi taxable yan. Diba sa gross income nila. Included yan sa personal gross income nila. Yung may receipt nilang net income sa partnerships or sa GPP. Okay? So here, does income for illegal activities, diba? As what I said earlier, fall within the ambit of income from whatever source derived subject to income tax. So next, other income is self-help income. So dito sa self-help income, from the word itself, self-help income. So when you're going to do a service from yourself, a service to yourself, automatic na po yan, hindi po yung taxable. Halimbawa, bahay ko, magpipintura ako. Bahay ko po yun, pipinturahan ko, then hindi po siya, yung na-render kong service, hindi siya taxable. Kasi po, self-help income po yun. Ako naman po nag-render ng service, di ba? At the same time, ako naman po yung may-ari po nun. Tama. So, however, paano kung, halimbawa, si A, Mr. A decided to ask Mr. B to render a service in painting his house, diba? So, tapos, si Mr. B naman daw, gustong mag-ask na favor kung pwede gawin yung mga electrical wirings nila sa bahay nila at ang gagawa si Mr. A. So, both them render service on each other. So, na-exchange sila ng services. So, yun po, taxable po yun. Opo, hindi po siya considered as self-help income. Diba? As if nag-render sila ng service at nakatanggap sila ng pera. Pero yung pera na receive nila is yung service na na-render ng ibang party. So, paano natin malalaman yung amount? Siyempre, malalaman yung amount is yung patungkol sa fair market value. Yung usually na magkano talaga yung pag-render ng service na yun. Halimbawa, pagpipintura, o magkano ba yung rate niyan? Usually, yun. Dapat i-include yun sa gross income. Tama, taxable po yun. However, kung ikaw naman yung gumawa, hindi po yun taxable. Kasi ang tawag din ay self-help income. Okay. So, next, compensation in kind. So, here, di ba, si employer, usually, si employer pwede na kapag magbabayad siya ng compensation yung sa mga empleyado niya, hindi lang pera. Pwede rin siya magbayad in kind. So, here, with the cash received by the employee, yun yung compensation income nila, subject to withholding tax yan. Withholding tax. Sino nag-deduct? Si employer. Kasi nga, withhold nila yung tax na yun. Then, i-remit niya lang kay BAR. No, ganun din dito sa paid in kind. Kasi nga, considered as compensation siya. So, subject pa rin sa withholding tax. Okay, the following rules shall apply. Una, if service are delivered in kind, of course, the fair market value of the thing taken is paid in payment is the amount to be included as compensation income. So, like for example, ang binigay kay empleyado, cellphone, patungkol dun sa service na nirender niya sa company. So, yung cellphone na yun, dapat, ang ilalagay sa compensation income ng empleyado is yung fair market value ng cellphone. Okay, next, kapag meron naman stipulated price sa kontrata, usually contract, halimbawa 100,000 yung matatanggap what do you call this, salary ng empleyado. Kailangan yun ang masusunod, 100,000. However, kung walang stipulated price dun sa contract, tapos may bigay ng yung salary binayaran in kind, so automatic na dapat ang titingnan is yung fair market value ng remuneration na natanggap. Parang ganun din yan doon sa letter A. Ang pinagkaiba lang dito, kung may stipulated price, ang magpiprevail yung stipulated price. Pag wala, yung fair market value nung bagay na natanggap nung empleyado as compensation. Okay, next. If the corporation transfers to its employees its own stock as remuneration for services rendered, the amount of such remuneration in the fair market value of the stock at the time the services were rendered. So here, si company as a compensation, diba? Or as a salary of its employees, pwede siya mag-issue ng stocks. So, yung stocks na yun, ang magiging value nun is yung fair market value of the stock at the time when the employee render his or her service to the company. Like for example, January 1 siya nag-render yung service, tapos regardless kung kailan nag-issue si company, ang ilalagay doon is sa gross income or as taxable gross income is yung fair market value ng stocks at the time when the services were rendered. Okay, next, other taxable compensation income. So, compensation paid in promissory note. Taxable income yan. So, regardless, as long as considered as compensation income yan, regardless kung paid in kind or paid in promissory note, it must be taxable. No. So, refers to a promissory note received in payment of services. It constitutes income to the extent of their fair market value at the time of receipt. So note, if the note is subjected to a discounting of notes, the fair market value is the fair discounted value. So here, let's illustrate. So sabi dito, noong 2017, Dait received from Labok a promissory note with a face value of 1 million for services rendered. So automatic na considered as compensation income na kasi nag-render ng service. Tama. So however, ang pinambayad po ay hindi po cash promissory note. Tapos ang face value is 1 million pesos. And also, you must consider the maturity period of that note, which is 1 year maturity period siya. So at the time of receipt in 2017, the note was sold at a discount of 18%. So dahil sinabi natin si Light, gusto niya na magkapera, kailangan niya ang cash. So binenta niya yung notes na yun sa bangko at a discount of 18%. So, yun. Then, Labo paid the note upon maturity in 2018. So, tama, 1 year maturity kasi. So, the next year, kailangan bayaran na ni nag-issue ng notes. So, first question, how much income is subject to tax in 2017? So, from the discussion above, sabi doon, yung discounted value pair, discounted value, yun yung magiging taxable income at the time na binenta yung notes. Tama. So, the face value is 1 million, less discount, which is 18% ng 1 million, 180,000. So, ang taxable income for 2017 is 820,000. Tama. So, ang taxable income for the year 2017, ang subject to income tax is 820,000. And the rest, yung 180,000 na discount po, dahil ang maturity period is just only 1 year, yung 180,000 yan, automatic na, the next year, taxable po siya. No? So, how much income is subject to tax in 2018? So, hindi pa na sa subject sa taxable income, yung natitira, yung remaining, which is yung discount price na 180,000, yun po ay subject to income tax. No, however, sabihin natin what if ang maturity value niya is 2 years. Tapos sabi sa problem, yung 50% daw is magmamature the next year. And the remaining will be matured after 2 years. So here, ang 180,000 na yan, for 2018, 50% na yung ang magmamature. So, yung 90,000, kailangan yun lang yung dapat na i-subject sa income tax. Kasi, yun lang tayo na lang magmamature yung remaining ang value. Tama. So, yung other 90,000, yun exceed kasi maturity period na is 2 years. Tapos, sabi sa problem, 50% daw is mature on the first year, then next, after that year, yung 50% naman. So, hati mo na yun sa 50% yung 80,000. Tama. So, tips and gratuities. Employees taxable income but not subject to withholding tax. So, paano natin for tax purposes, tips and gratuities are taxable. Diba? Like, for example, Mr. A, after eating in a restaurant, decided to give a tip to Mr. B. So, yun, kay Mr. D. So, yun, binigay niya yung tips and gratuities niya kay B. Oo. So, kung nabigay niya kay B yung tips na yun, automatic na yung tips na na-receive ni B kay A is taxable. O, kailangan pong i-include yan sa personal income tax return ni Mr. B. Oo. Wala siyang withholding tax. Bakit? Bakit mo kailangan i-withholding tax? Eh, ang magbabayad talaga ay si Mr. B. Tama. So, hindi naman na dumaan yan sa employer. Unless, kung yung tips or gratuities na yon in-account ni employer at dumaan kay employer, in-account niya, automatic na kailangan meron siyang withholding tax. Tama. Tapos, after the taxable year, yung tips and gratuities na yun, i-include sa income tax return ni Mr. B. However, ang gagawa po ng ITR ni Mr. B ay yung employer niya. Oo. All of the compensation income, diba, na accounted ni employer at siya yung mismo yung accounted at same time siya yung mismo nagbayad kay Mr. D, yun, subject to withholding tax po yun. So, i-limit ni employer sa BAR, no need for Mr. D, diba, na magbayad uli. Kasi nga, na-deduct na po yun sa sweldo mo. Na-withhold na po yung employer mo, so si employer na po yung magbabayad sa BAR. Ikaw, ang gagawin mo na lang, pipirma ka na lang sa ITR na gagawin ni employer, i-playa ng employer mo, yung, tapos i-check mo kung tama ba talaga yung nasa income tax return. Okay? So next, fixed or variable allowances. So here, when you say fixed allowances, it does not depend on some factors. Diba? Fixed na po yan na kahit ano yung rank, kahit ano yung position mo, whether you're officer or rank and file, fixed na po yung allowances mo yan. However, sa variable allowances, usually it depends on some factors such as yung position mo sa company, yan, whether you're rank and file or officers, nagbabago-bago. Kaya, depende dun sa kita mo, diba? Commission-based, ika nga. So, nagbabago-bago siya. So, that is what's called variable allowances. So, here, yung mga fixed or variable allowances, as long as considered as compensation income, automatic na subject to income tax siya. At the same time, creditable, meron siya rin siyang creditable withholding tax on compensation. Tama. So, di ko pala sinasabi kanina, if you are purely compensation income, yung na-earn mo, no need for you to file an ITR. I mean, personal income tax returns, pupunta ka sa BAR, tas ikaw magpa-file. No need for you because your employer will going to do it for you. Kasi nga, na-withhold na po yung tax na kailangan mong bayaran patungkol po dun sa compensation na na-receive mo sa company. Oo. Unless, kung meron ka pang other income, diba, other compensation income, oo, tapos other business income, kasi kapag marami kang income, i-consolidate mo yan, isama mo yan sa gross income mo. Tama. Then after computing the tax payable, diba, sakat cumulative na po yan, all of your income are included on your tax payable, diba, sa income tax return. So dapat yung na mga creditable withholding tax na nadeduct na dun sa sweldo mo, diba, o kaya nadeduct na dun sa mga na-receive mong income, diba, so kailangan i-deduct yun sa income tax payable mo. Kung hindi mo na ma-deduct yun, unfair on your part. Kasi nga, bayad mo naman na yun. Bakit kailangan mo pang isama sa income tax payable mo? Tama. So, yan din yung maganda sa creditable withholding tax. Okay? So, example of fixed or variable allowances, yung transportation allowance, representation allowance, communication allowance, living away from home allowance, and the like. So, however, any amount that is reasonable expected to be incurred by an employee in the performance of his duty is not compensation. So, some of allowances may not be taxable as long as if you comply, if you already comply of some, if you're already compliant with some of the requirements, diba? Una, ordinary and necessary expenses. Pangalawa, paid or incurred in pursuit of trade, business, or profession. So, from the first and second requirements, the best example for that is, halimbawa, si Mr. A, medical representative. Tapos, ang nature ng trabaho niya is pumupunta-punta po siya sa iba't ibang bayan within the province, diba? So, yun. So, pumupunta-punta siya. So, nakita ni company na nature nga ng occupation at the same time, nature ng business nila nga ang bebenta ng mga gamot-gamot. So, ginawa ni company, binigyan ng transportation allowance si Mr. A kasi siya yung medical representative. Diba? Yun yung position niya sa company. So, yun po, hindi po siya considered as compensation income po ni Mr. A. Kasi ordinary and necessary expenses o malamang kasi nasa nature na ng business, nature na ng occupation ni Mr. A. Kaya ordinary and necessary expenses siya. At the same time, yung pangalawang requirement, paid or incurred in pursuit of trade, business, or profession. So, sa part po ni company, di ba, dahil yung nature of business niya, di ba, nagbebenta ng mga gamot-gamot. So, hindi siya taxable, di ba? It cannot be considered as compensation income sa part po ni Mr. A. Tama. So, how about the other requirements, which is required to be liquidated for the foregoing expenses. So, here, di ba, once na, siya, binigay sa'yo. Next example dyan is yung representation, allowances, and transport. Tama ba? Yung rata, representation, allowances, and transportation allowances. Yung rata po. So, yung rata, di ba, for private company, once na nagbigay ng rata po sa mga officers niya, automatic na po, taxable siya when it is not liquidated. Di ba? Hindi siya na-reimburse, hindi siya na-liquidate. So, sino nakinabang? Ang nakinabang lang po ay yung empleyado, yung officer. So, as a result, other compensation income yun, considered as compensation income siya. So, kung hindi siya na-liquidate, taxable po siya. No, kaya hindi na ibalik sa company, taxable po siya. However, kung all of the amount of the rata is fully liquidated, automatic na, hindi siya taxable. It cannot be considered as compensation income. Tama. Okay, note, any unreturned excess advances is taxable income to the employee. Tama. Bakit? Kasi nga, yung mga excess advances na yan, ikaw na, yung empleyado man yung nakinabang, hindi naman yung company. So, part yun yung compensation income na. Okay, next, pre-computed business allowance. Reasonable amounts of reimbursements, advances for traveling, and entertainment expenses that are pre-computed on a daily basis. So here, the best example for this is yung per dime. Halimbawa, sa government, kapag kami pumunta sa ibang lugar, diba, kapag within Cam Norte, meron kami, correct me if I'm wrong, 1,500 per dime. So, yung 1,500 per dime na yun, pwede namin i-advance, tama? O kaya, after the travel, diba, pwede namin yung reimburse, matanggap yung per dime na yun. So, yun yung pre-computed business allowances. Next, business-related allowances subject to liquidation. So, any amount paid specially either as advances or reimbursements for travel, representation, and other bona fide, ordinary and necessary expenses incurred or reasonably expected to be incurred by the employee in the performance of his duties are not compensation, subject to withholding, if the following conditions are satisfied. And also, I forgot, diba, kapag hindi na i-return yung excess patungkol dun sa advances niya or hindi na i-liquidate yung patungkol dun sa natanggap niya allowances, automatic na po siya, included po siya sa taxable gross income po ng empleyado, at the same time subject to withholding tax. Ang mag-withhold po si employer. Okay. So, back to this, business-related allowances subject to liquidation. So, ano yung mga condition? And also pala, dun sa taas, itong mga ordinary expenses, paid or incurred in pursuit of trade, business, or profession, required to be liquidated for the foregoing expenses, hindi naman kinakailangan na dapat ma-comply yan lahat. Isa lang dyan ang ma-comply or pasok yun sa isang requirement lang, considered as not compensation, yung mga allowances na receive ni empleyado. And so, hindi siya magiging taxable. So here is for ordinary and necessary traveling or and representation or entertainment expenses paid or incurred with employee and a person. Ganun din yan. Kanina, na-discuss ko na to. The employee is required to account or liquidate for ongoing expenses. Kanina rin, na-discuss ko na rin yan. So here, rata na tayo. Representation and transportation allowances. So here, if it is received by the officials, employees of the public companies, diba, consider reimbursement for the expenses incurred in the performance of one's duties rather than as additional expense compensation. So, usually po, ang nakakatanggap po talaga ng rata is yung mga officers. So, bakit may rata sila? Yung representation and transportation allowances. Like, for example, usually sa mga private companies, bakit may rata sila? Kasi nga, nag-limit sila ng mga client, napapakainin nila dito, napapatulogin sa ganito, sa ganyan. Diba? So, saan sila kukuha ng panggastos? Eh, di dun sa rata ang binigay ng company. However, yun nga, subject for reimbursement siya. So, kailangan dapat, para hindi siya maging taxable, magastos sa lahat ng expenses patungkol dun sa kanyang trabaho talaga. Diba? So, once na fully reimbursed po siya, o nagastos yun lahat, automatic na hindi dapat yun isama sa compensation income ni officers or at hindi siya taxable. However, kapag hindi siya na-reimburse, diba, yung certain portion na hindi niya certain portion ng amount na hindi niya na-reimburse, na pa-reimburse o naigastos, yun ay, at natinanggap niya, hindi niya sinauli, yun ay taxable. Subject to withholding tax. Okay, so yun na. However, the excess of rata, if not returned to the employer, constitutes the taxable compensation of the employee. So, however, if the rata under General Appropriations Act is received by the government office employees or officers are not subject to income tax. So, kapag ang naka-receive po is government officers, usually officers lang talaga nakakatanggap ng rata, hindi siya, tapos under General Appropriations Acts, hindi siya taxable. Okay. And also, no need for liquidation or reimbursement kasi nga, from the start, kung sa binigyan sa inyo sa officer siya o sa empleyado, hindi siya taxable. Okay. Next, stipends of resident physicians. So here, the stipends received by the resident physicians during their intensive training in the residency program of a hospital individuals engaged in the practice of a profession or calling like doctors of medicines are subject to creditable withholding tax. So usually, diba, pag yung mga doktor under intensive training na sila, after yun nga, needed talaga yung training nila, diba, once nag-train sila sa hospital, diba, o kaya na-engage sila ng practice of a profession, or calling like doctors of medicine, ano yan, considered as compensation income sa part nila. Subject to creditable withholding tax. Tama. Okay. So next, vacation and sick leave allowances, taxable compensation income. So here, refer to the salary of an employee on vacation or sick leave which are paid notwithstanding his absence from work. So here, di ba, kapag nag-leave ang isang empleyado, at the same time, meron siyang leave credits, automatic na, once na nag-leave siya, taxable pa rin po yun. Bakit? As if na nagtrabaho siya on So next is vacation and sick leave allowances or taxable compensation income. So here, when an employee decided to leave and it is approved leave, di ba? Yung araw na nilib niya, automatic na yun ay taxable as if na nagtrabaho siya ng araw na yun kahit nakalib siya. So, taxable na po siya. Tama. So, kung nag-leave ako ngayong araw at approve po yung leave na yun, as if na nagtrabaho ako. Ibabawas na lang, pero mababawasan yung leave credits ko, di ba? Pero kung wala akong leave credits, di ba, yung pag hindi ako nagpasok, automatic na as if na hindi talaga ako nagtrabaho. I mean, hindi talaga ako nagtrabaho kasi nakalip ako. So, wala akong sweldo on that day. Pero kung may leave credits ako at nag-apply at approve yung leave ko, automatic na taxable yun. As if na nagtrabaho ka nung araw na yun. So, here, however, the mortgage value of unutilized vacation leave credits of 10 days or less paid to private firm employees is not subject to income tax. So, bakit? So, yung unutilized monetization value of mortgage value of unutilized vacation leave credits of 10 days or less paid to private firm employees, di ba? Part yan ng de minimis benefits. Kasi may 14 subjects na hindi siya taxable, considered as de minimis benefit siya. So, yung de minimis benefit, yan yung mga fringe benefits, yung mga minimal amount of benefits na binibigay ng employers, empleyado, katulad ng one sum of rights, floating allowances, yan. So, yung 14 de minimis benefits na yan, mas pag-aaralan pa natin yan sa individual taxpayers. Okay. So, here, bakit kasi ang empleyado, kapag may leave credits yan, pwede po yung ma-monetize. Most especially kapag sa private companies. Diba? Pwede po yung ma-monetize. So, ang leave credits mo yan, yung 1 day leave credit mo, consider equivalent yan sa isang araw na sweldo mo. Tama. So here, kapag nag-monetize daw yung unutilized vacation leave credits of 10 days or less paid to private firm employees, hindi po siya subject to income tax. Tama. Oo. Paano kung yung i-monetize daw yung sick leave credits. Tapos, 10 days or less din siya. Tapos, binayaran sa private employees. Ang tanong, taxable po ba yun? Of course not. Hindi. Of course, yes, taxable po siya. Kasi, ang tinutukoy po dito is, as part of the minimis benefit is yung unutilized vacation leave credits. Diba? Tama. Kasi ang sabi ko kanina dun sa example ko is yung sick leave credits. Hindi po siya, taxable po siya. Kasi sick leave credits yung sabi ko kanina. Tama. So, next, kapag yung empleyado man is government employees or government officials. So, yung unutilized amortization of unutilized vacation and sick leave credits paid to government officials or officers and employees are also exempted. So here, regardless kung ilang araw na leave credits yung kanya i-monetize. And also, regardless kung vacation or sick leave. Tama? Kasi nga, nakatanggap is yung government officers or employees. Tama? So, here naman, sa kanyang sinabi ko kanina, ang naka-receive is private firm employees, tapos unutilized vacation leave credits, vacation, tapos ang leave credits na i-monetize niya is 10 days or less. Hindi siya taxable. Tama. Pero kung ito vacation, magiging sick leave credits, tapos 10 days or less paid, tapos binayad kay private firm employees, yun ay taxable. Kasi ang nasa tax law po natin as de minimis benefit is yung vacation leave credits of 10 days or less paid to private firm employees. Hindi siya taxable. So, sa government, ang counterpart niya naman sa government officials and employees, kapag unutilized vacation and sick leave credits, regardless kung ilang araw po yan, hindi siya taxable. So, illustrate natin. So, dito, Mr. A is working in a private company. He decided to monetize his 25 days unutilized vacation leave credits. His salary per day is 1,000 pesos. So, first, identify muna po natin kung anong uring empleyado si Mr. A. Siya ay nagkatrabaho sa private company. Tama. He decided to monetize his 25 days unutilized leave credits. Tama. Ilan lang ba yung hindi taxable? 10 days or less. So, ibig sabihin, kung 25 days yung kanyang imo-monetize, ililis natin yung 10 days kasi nga, hindi siya taxable. So, ang matitira po is 15 days. So, 15 days po ay taxable. And also, consider din natin kung anong uring leave credits siya. Yan ay vacation leave credit. So, pasok na pasok siya dun sa diminished benefit yung 10 days. So, kailangan bawasan po natin ng 10 days yung 25 days. So, 15 days lang yung taxable. Tama. So, question, how much will be non-taxable and taxable? So, automatic ang non-taxable is 10 days kasi yun na diminished benefit, di ba? Unutilized leave credits of 10 days or less given to private employees or officials. Tama. So, magkano ba yung rate niya per araw, per day? 1,000. So, you're just going to multiply. So, the 10 days, taxable, non-taxable, times 1,000, ang sagot po ay ito. 10,000. So, ito po yung non-taxable. Kasi, sabi doon, sa tax code natin, monetized value of unutilized vacation leave credits given of 10 days or less given to private employees or officials is not subject to income tax. So, yung 10 days na ceiling po natin, times natin yung rate niya per day, 1,000. Sagot po ay 10,000 pesos. So, yung 10,000 pesos po, hindi po yan taxable. Okay. So, ano mangyayari sa remaining na 15 days na monetization of vacation leave credits niya? Yun po ay magiging taxable niya. So, the excess, dun sa ceiling natin na 10 days na hindi taxable, yung 15 days, taxable na po yan. Times, you're just going to multiply it kung magkano yung arawan niya, 1,000. So, ang taxable po niya, included sa gross income niya is, taxable gross income niya is 15,000 pesos. Okay, next question. The taxable monetization of unutilized leave credits of a private employee. So, ang imo-monetize man niya is yung sick leave credits niya. Ano nga yung sabi ng tax code? Diba? Monetized value of unutilized vacation leave credits. Isa ka sick leave credits daw. As if yung imo-monetize ni Mr. A is sick leave credits na bagong isip niya. So, all of the days na gusto niyang i-monetize patungkol sa leave credits niya, automatic na po yan ay taxable. So, 25 days times 1,000 yung rate niya per day, sagot po is 25,000 pesos. Yan po yung taxable. Tama. So, the amount of monetized leave credits are included in taxable gross income. Tama. The same time, subject to withholding tax po yan. Kasi ang magbabayad po yan si employer. So, sakat kasama yan sa, tama ba? Kasama yan sa compensation income mo, automatic na subject to withholding tax yan. Tama. Okay, next. Taxable monetization of unutilized vacation sick leave credits of a government employee or officer. So, let's assume yung problem si Mr. A sa government employee, diba? Tapos, imo-monetize niya unutilized vacation and sick leave credits. Or vacation and sick leave credits. Or either the one. Kapag vacation leave credits, yung kanyang imo-monetize, automatic na, regardless kung ilang araw yan ay regardless of the amount. Di ba kasi sa batas natin, kailangan ang imo-monetize mo na leave credits is not more than 30 days. No? So, here, yung vacation, regardless kung vacation or sick leave credits, mas ang nakatanggap is government employee or officer. I mean, ang mag-monetize is government employee or officer, automatic na po, yan ay hindi taxable. Hindi po yan taxable. Kasi part yan ng de minimis benefits. Nasa tax code po natin yan. Okay. So, next, maternity leave. So, under RA 11210, other known as the 105-day expanded maternity leave law, diba, na-aprobahan ng ito noong 2019. And it joins implementing rules and regulations and the RMC 105-2019. The maternity benefit of the female employee shall pertain to the full payment of salary, wherein one of its components is a salary differential. Okay, so next, full pay or full salary pertains to the actual remuneration or earnings paid by the employer for service rendered on normal working days and hours, including allowances provided for under existing company policy or collective bargaining agreement, if any. Next, salary differential refers to the difference that shall be shouldered by the employer when the actual cash benefit received from SSS is less than the full pay or full salary of the female employee during the duration of the maternity leave. Next, the salary differential, being part of the maternity benefit, shall be treated under the same tax rules with the actual cash benefit received from SSS. Hence, exempt from income tax and withholding tax on compensation income. So, yung 105-day po na expanded maternity leave o yung leave ng isang babae patungkol po sa kanyang panganak, diba? Automatic na yun ay hindi taxable. No, kasi maternity benefit yan. Next, forgiveness of intendedness. If the creditor condones the indebtedness of the debtor, the following rules shall apply. So, on account of the debtor's services to the creditor, the same is taxable income to the former. So here, like for example, si Mr. A, nag-render ng service kay Mr. B. Tapos, after mag-render ng service, sabi ni Mr. B, utang muna. Utang muna. Next year ko na lang babayaran. Then, si Mr. A, the next year, sabi niya kay Mr. B, ay, yung nirender ko sa yung service, huwag po nang bayaran. So, yun ay, taxable income. Taxable income po yun ni Mr. A. Kailangan i-include yun sa gross income ni Mr. A. Sa taxable gross income ni Mr. A. Tama. So, next, if no services were rendered, but the creditor simply condones the debt, it is a taxable gift. So, tama. Hindi naman siya nag-render ng service. Diba? Tapos, is this only a mere loan? Diba? Tapos, kinandone nung creditor, automatic na considered as taxable gift. Taxable siya as donors tax. Tama. Next, if the creditor is the corporation and the debtor is a stockholder, the forgiveness of indebtedness has an effect on the payment of dividends. So, yun. Dito, halimbawa, may utang, stockholder, tapos ang nagpautang, corporation. Tapos sabi ni corporation, ay, huwag mo nang bayaran, condone ko na. So, automatic, yun, taxable siya as payment of dividends. Kasi nga, shareholders naman yung may utang. Tapos, ang nagpa-utang is yung corporation. So, as if na binayaran na yung dividend niya sa company. So, taxable pa rin po siya. So, if the creditor is a stockholder and the debtor is the corporation, the forgiveness of indebtedness shall be considered as an additional investment. So, here, di ba, ang creditor is stockholder, tama. And the debtor is the corporation, tama. So, sabi ni stockholder, nagpautang siya, tapos sinabi niya sa corporation, tapos sabi ni stockholder, wag mo na bayaran corporation. Ang gagawin naman ng corporation, i-consider niya as additional investment ni stockholder yung nagpautang. Okay, next, remuneratory donations. So, they refer to those which remunerate past services which do not constitute demandable debts. The motivating cause is gratitude, acknowledgement of a debt, or desire to compensate not the liberality of the donor. They are deemed income subject to income tax. So, example, A saved the life of B who met an accident. The latter is in a display of gratitude gave him cash of 500,000. So, is the 500,000 a taxable income? Of course, yes. Taxable po siya. So, bakit? Kasi si A, niligtas niya yung buhay ni B. Diba? Who met an accident. Diba? So, as if na nung sinalba niya yung buhay ni B, diba? Nag-render siya ng service. So, as if na parang nag-render siya ng service sa pagsalba niya ng buhay niya kay B, ay ni B, pagsalba ng buhay ni B, automatic na po, yun ay subject to income tax. So, taxable po siya, yung 500,000. So, next, wala. So, next, suppose without doing anything and A received 500,000 pesos from B due purely to the liberality of the latter, is that 500,000 pesos a taxable income? Of course, no. Bakit? Hindi siya, it cannot be considered as remuneratory donation. Kasi nga, hindi naman siya, wala siyang ginawa, diba? So, kung wala siyang ginawa, as if na wala siyang nirender ng service. So, hindi po siya taxable. Diba? It is just only purely the liberality of A, Mr. A. So, hindi siya taxable. Diba? Hindi siya income subject to income tax. Tama ba? Basta hindi siya taxable income. However, it is considered as taxable in donor's tax. Magkaiba naman po yun. Okay, next. Recovery of bad debts previously deducted. Recovery of bad debts previously allowed as deduction in the preceding years shall be included as part of the gross income in the test of recovery to the extent of the income tax benefit of the said deduction. There was a tax benefit when taxpayers realized a tax deduction of income tax due on account of said bad debt with deduction from gross income. So, may tinatawag po na income tax benefit rule. So, here, as long as if you're going to write off bad debts, diba? So, deduction yan. Kapag, deduction yan sa part ng income na, sa income na, sa income mo, diba? Deduction yan sa income mo kasi receivable, tapos considered mo, ni-write off mo, na tipong alam mo sarili mo, hindi mo na siya marireceive, diba? O, kailangan natin i-deduct. Kasi included po yan sa income mo. Oo, okay. So, sa income tax benefit rule, paano naman sabi may income tax benefit rule once nag-write off ka na bad debts? Diba? Halimbawa, ang net income mo, let's go to the illustration para mas maintindihan nyo. Ito pa, interest on the amount recovered is a taxable income and is not covered by a tax benefit rule. So, tama, kasi utang yan eh. So, once na-recover mo yan, yung bad debts na write off mo na, automatic na, siyempre, mag-earn yun ng interest kasi utang yan. So, yung interest na na-earn mo, hindi yan covered ng tax benefit rule. So, yung face value lang yung account receivable na ni-write off mo. Yun lang yung pasok na sa tax benefit rule. Okay, so based from this illustration, so for case 1, the income or loss before write-off is 60,000. So, ang bad debt na written off is 10,000 pesos. Tama. So, income or loss after debt in 2017 for case 1 is 50,000 pesos. So, the next year, ang na-recover mo is 10,000 pesos. Okay, ang tanong, sa unang case, sabi dito, magkano daw yung taxable. Malamang ang taxable dyan dun sa bad debt recovered on the year 2018 is just only 10,000 pesos. Bakit? Kasi nga, from the tax benefit rule, di ba, ang bad debt, di ba, ang na-deduct mo last year, yung 2017, is 10,000 pesos. So, dapat, kung wala kang ni-write off na bad debt, ang babayaran mo talaga for 2017 is 60,000 pesos. However, write off ka ng bad debt na 10,000, lumiit po yung babayaran mo ng tax. Naging 50,000 na lang. So, nabawasan po siya ng 10,000. Tama. So, kung magkano na-recovered mo for the next year, diba, or preceding years, tama ba? Or future years, diba? Dapat, hindi lalagpas ng 10,000 pesos. Kasi yan na yung na-write off. Diyan lang nag-benefit yung company, 10,000. Kasi bumaba ng 10,000 pesos. Dapat 60,000 yung babayaran sa BR. Oo. Yung dapat yung taxable income, bumaba ng 10,000, naging 50,000. So, nag-benefit siya ng 10,000. So, ito lang yung taxable. Tama. So, for case 2, however, here, for case 2, nagkaroon siya ng loss before write-off, which is naging loss na ng 30,000. Tapos, nagkaroon ng write-off pa rin siya ng bad debts na 10,000. So, naging negative na 40,000. So, from the start, di ba, hindi na siya required magbayad ng tax kasi loss po yan. Oo, dapat taxable income lang. Income lang po ang dapat patawan ng tax. Tama. Loss na ito. O, tapos, binawasan na naman 10,000 kasi nag-write-off ng bad debts. So, yung loss niya is bumaba lalo. So, yung na-recovered niya, na-recovered niya on the next years, yung 10,000 pesos, hindi po yan, taxable. Kasi from the beginning, the company is not required anymore to pay its tax. Kasi loss na po siya. Tama. Check natin. So, case 2, not taxable. There was no tax benefit to the taxpayer because when the bad debt was claimed as deduction, the taxpayer was already at a net loss. Tama. Thus, it did not result in deduction in the tax liability of the taxpayer. Tama. So, case 3, 60,000 yung income before write-off. Tama. So, ang bad debt written off niya 100,000. So, nagkaroon siya ng net loss. So, it means, nag-benefit yung taxpayer patungkol dun sa pag-write off niya ng bad debts. Tama. Dapat ang babayaran niya before write off is 60,000. However, nag-decide siya magkaroon ng bad debt, i-write off yung bad debt niya, diba naging net loss. So, hindi na siya required magbayad ng income tax kasi net loss na po siya. However, the next year, nagkaroon ng bad debt recovery ng 100,000. So, it means, dapat ang magiging taxable lang patungkol sa bad debt recovered on the next year is just only what? 60,000 na. Bakit? Kasi nga po, kasi yung 40,000, hindi po siya dapat igawin taxable. Kasi yung 2017, ang taxable income lang niya is 60,000 pesos. So, hanggang 60,000 ng pesos lang po yung dapat na maging taxable income on the period kung kailan po na-receive or na-recover yung bad debts. Tama. Kasi, because of tax benefit rule, nag-benefit lang siya for the amount at the amount of 60,000 pesos only. So, 60,000 pesos lang yung taxable. Tama. 60,000. Kasi nga, yan yung talagang dapat yung babayaran. 60,000 lang. Kasi kung ginawa mo, yung bad debt recovery niya is lahat na 100,000. Nag-benefit na siya is at the amount of 60,000. So, 60,000 lang yung dapat na taxable on the year kung kailan na-recover yung bad debt. Okay, next. Refund of tax. A tax refund is taxable if the tax was previously deducted as an expense in computing the tax during the previous year. It shall be included as part of the gross income in the linear receipt to the extent of the income tax benefit of the said deduction. The general rule: the taxes paid or incurred within the taxable period or year in connection with the taxpayer's profession, trade, or business shall be allowed as deduction. Tama. The following taxes are not taxable, namely, income tax paid abroad if claimed as tax credit, estate tax, donor's tax, and special assessment. So, the rest is deductible. So, ang hindi lang po deductible, income tax, malamang. Yan dapat maging deductible once na na-receive mo yan, yung income tax refund mo. Tama? Tapos, income tax paid abroad if claimed as a tax credit. So, if you're a resident citizen, diba, you can claim a tax credit. So, kung magkano yung, halimbawa, may income ka sa ibang bansa, so kung magkano yung binayaran mo sa ibang bansa, pwede mo, tama. So, yung income tax paid mo sa ibang bansa patungkol dun sa income na earn mo sa ibang bansa, pwede mo siyang gawing as allowable deduction sa income tax return mo, sa gross income mo. Tama. And at the same time, you may also claim it as tax credit. Tax credit na i-deduct sa income tax payable. Halimbawa, mas ma-appreciate nito kapag nasa individual taxpayer na tayong topic. No, so hindi ko masyado in-discuss yan. So, yun. Estate tax, so this is ko na kanina. Donor's tax, so din. And special assessment. So, yun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lang yung hindi deductible once na receive yung refund patungkol sa mga taxes na yan. The rest, deductible na po siya. So, madali lang tandaan, income tax paid abroad if claimed as tax credit, estate tax, donor's tax, special assessment. So, based on illustration. So, here, taxable income before deduction, 150,000. So, ito yung binayaran niyang mga taxes. Tapos, nagkaroon siya ng, yung mga binayaran daw niyang taxes, ito, na-refund niya daw noong 2018. So, ang tanong, magkano daw yung taxable income after the refund, tax refund. So, first, let us identify kung ano yung mga what they call this, deductible. Diba? Yung income tax ba, deductible sa income tax return? Hindi. Okay? Hindi po yan. Yung common carriers tax, deductible siya, deductible po yan. Local business tax, deductible po yan. Tama? Donor's tax, hindi po yan deductible. So, once, diba, pasok pa din yung tax benefit rule dito. Tama? Itong common carriers tax is deductible sa income tax return. Diba? Kung na-refund mo yan the next year, dapat included yan sa gross income nung binayaran mo yan, nung period na binayaran mo yan, which is 15,000 pesos. So, kailangan dapat i-include yan sa taxable gross income or taxable income sa 2018. Okay. Itong income tax, hindi naman talaga from the start deductible, so hindi ka naman talaga nag-benefit dyan. Tama. So, hindi yan kasama. Yung refund mo dyan, hindi yan kasama sa hindi yan included sa taxable income. Tama. Okay, sa common carriers tax, yan, deductible yan. So, kung na-deduct mo yan noong 2017, sa ITR mo, part yun ng allowable deduction or business expenses, yung common carriers tax. Diba? Part yun ng allowable deduction kasi business expenses yan. So, diniduct mo yun, deductible yan. So, the next year, once na nagkaroon na ka refund patungkol dyan on that amount, yung 15,000 na yan, kailangan include sa income tax return kung kailan mo na-receive yung refund na yan. Tama? So, local business tax. Itong mga local business taxes, part yun ng allowable deduction as business expenses. So, kung na-deduct yan ng 2017 patungkol dyan sa binayaran mong tax na yun, ng local business taxes, tapos nagkaroon ka na receive yung refund noong 2018. So, sa 2018 mo, yung 10,000 local business taxes mo included yan sa taxable income yan ng 2018. Tama. So, donor's tax. Itong 6,000 na donor's tax, hindi naman yan deductible. Oo, hindi yan part ng allowable deduction. Hindi rin yan part ng business expenses mo. So, kung na-refund mo yan, diba, dapat i-include yan sa, dapat hindi yan i-include sa income tax return mo, or hindi yan dapat maging taxable income. Kasi from the start, hindi naman talaga deductible. Compared to these two, yung common carries tax, deductible yan, part yun ng allowable deductions as business expense. The same time, yung local business tax, part din yung allowable deduction as business expense. So, nag-benefit ka dyan. No? Kung ma-refund mo yan, kasi lumiit yung babayaran mong tax worth of, pag sinama mo yan, worth of 25,000 pesos. Lumiit ng 25,000 yung dapat mong babayaran tax. Diba? So, once na na-receive yung refund dyan, automatic na on the year when you receive the refund of that taxes, automatic na dapat i-include dyan sa taxable gross income kung kailan mo na-receive. So, here for the illustration, 2018 daw, na-receive yung refund patungkol sa mga taxes na to noong 2018. Then, yung income before tax refund, 200,000. So, state ko lang, okay, mali to, kasi ito, 2017, for the year 2017, itong information na yan, ha? Tapos ito, yung 200,000 for the year 2018. So, the income tax before tax refund for 2018 is 200,000. Then, you must add all of the tax refunds that are subject to income tax, which is yan, dalawa, common carries tax, local business tax. So, a total of 25,000. So, ang taxable income mo for the year 2018 when you receive the tax refunds, magiging 225,000. The refund of the income tax and donor's tax are not taxable because they are not deductible, tama, for purposes of computing the taxable income. As what I said earlier, yung income tax, hindi naman yung considered as business expenses. Ganun din ang donor's tax. So, hindi ka naman nag-benefit dyan. Tama. Compared to other taxes, yung pasok sa business expenses mo, once na-refund mo yun, deductible yun. So, nag-benefit ka doon. So, from the year, kung kailan mo na-receive yung tax refund patungkol sa mga taxes na yun, kailangan dapat i-include yan sa income tax return as taxable income. So, refund of indirect tax. If the tax is an indirect tax, the proper party to question or seek a refund of an indirect tax is the statutory taxpayer, the person on whom the tax is imposed by law, and who paid the same even if he shifts the burden thereof to another. So, B company purchased a Solene gasoline shop, 1 million liters of fuel from January to December 2018. Such product is subject to excise tax, an indirect tax, tama, which is added to the price it paid to the gasoline shop. If B company is exempt from excise tax, who is entitled to claim a refund on excise taxes initially paid to the government, B company or Solene company shop. Tama ba? Who is Answer. In the refund of indirect taxes, the statutory taxpayer, Solene gasoline shop, is the appropriate party who may claim the refund. In indirect taxation, the purchaser and end user ultimately bear the tax burden. but this does not transfer his status into a statutory taxpayer. B company should invoke its tax exemption to Solane gasoline shop before buying the fuel. So here, di ba, sabi dito sa B company daw, hindi dapat siya exempt from excise tax. However, nung purchase siya ng 1 million liters ng fuel kay Solane Gasoline Shop, in-include yung excise tax na sa binayaran niya. So, si B company nagsisik ng refund. Ng refund patungkol doon. So, ang tanong, valid ba yung pagsisik niya ng refund sa government? Hindi. Kasi nga, ang excess tax is an indirect tax. Tama. So, yung binayaran ni B, included na yung what you call this? Excise tax. Dapat, from the start, in-inform niya si gasoline shop na exempted siya sa excise tax. Para sa ganun, hindi na in-include yung sa price na babayaran ni B company. However, di niya sinabi, nagkamali siya. So, hindi valid yung sisik niya ng refund for excise tax. Hindi dahil sa naman siya, kundi dahil sa yung, di ba, once indirect tax yung excise tax kasi, ang babayad niya talaga is yung statutory taxpayer, which is yung kung saan ka bumili, which is yung, for example, is yung Solane Gasoline Shop. Included na po yan sa price nung mga produkto nila. Tama. So, once, ikaw yung nagbayad, however, ang nag-limit noon is yung Solane Gasoline Shop. Tama. Kasi na siya yung taxpayer talaga. Kasi included yung sa price ng mga produkto niya sa yung statutory taxpayer. So, ang pwede na mag-refund or mag-seek ng refund is yung statutory taxpayer, which is yung Solane Gasoline Shop. No? Kasi, most especially sa indirect taxes niyan. Halimbawa, example, yung VAT bill. So, sa mga product, kapag yung shop is vatable, automatic na included sa prices nila yung 12%. Diba? Included na po yun. So, pinapasa lang yun sa mga consumer nila or mga kliyente nila. Tama. However, as if ang nagbabayad talaga ay sino? Siyempre, yung kung saan ka bumili. Diba? Sila yung mag-remit nung VAT na yun sa government. So, yun, kahit ikaw yung nagbayad, pero included na kasi yun sa produkto ng price na binili mo. So, dapat, ang magiging statutory taxpayer dun ay yung mismong ang pinagbilihan mo, hindi ikaw. Okay. Next. Leasehold improvements. So, yun. Leasehold improvements, ito na, for tax purposes, paano yan? Sabi dito, when the lessee makes a useful improvement to the leased premises such as the construction of fence or building, the following rules shall apply if said improvements are relinquished to the lessor without demanding reimbursement of its value. So here, if the lease improvements na yung ginawa ni lessee nangungupahan at hindi naman siya subject for reimbursement kay lessor, ito yung rules na dapat natin sundan. So first, the consideration for the use of property paid by the lessee is taxable income to the lessor. Tama. The consideration for the use of property paid by the lessee is taxable income to the lessor. Ibig sabihin niya yung rent income. Tama. So taxable yan sa part ng lessor. Next, taxes paid by the lessee on behalf of the lessor for business property are additional rent and constitutes income taxable to the lessor. So here, all of the taxes, yung mga business taxes, tama ba? yung bawa kapag lote yung ganito, ang inupahan, di ba? Usually, kapag binayaran yung real property tax, yan, ang nagbayad is yung nangupa, automatic na included yun sa taxable income no lessor. Diba? As if additional rent yun. Kasi ang benefit si lessor kasi anong bayad? Si lessee. Dapat si lessor. However, binayaran ni lessee, so part yun ng additional rent ni lessee. Okay, next. When the lessee makes an improvement on his premises and said improvements would belong to the lessor upon the termination of the lease, the lessor may at his option report income as follows. So, patungkol dun sa lease improvements, di ba? Tapos sa kontrata nila na whatever happens, di ba? It would belong to the lessor upon the termination. Upon the termination of the lease, all of the lease improvements that have been made on that property must be belong to the lessor. Kapag kayo yung nasa kontrata, the lessor at his option report income as follows. First, outright method. So here, outright method, report as income the fair market value of the improvements in the year of completion. So, for example, yung building na pinatayo ni lessee dun sa property na inuupahan niya, na kompleto yung building, sabihin natin yung worth of 20 million. So, sabihin, at the time of completion, automatic na, pag ginamit ni lessor is outright method, the fair market value of that property of that leasehold improvements must be part as taxable income in the year of completion. Okay, so compared to the spread out method from the term itself, diba? Spread over the remaining term of the lease, the book value of such improvements at the termination of the lease. So bakit book value? Kasi nga bakit kailangan book value? Yung book value yung dapat tingnan, hindi yung fair market value. Kasi nga, di ba, sa bawat, kasi lease improvements yan eh. Di ba? Subject for depreciation yan. So, halimbawa, tapos pati, titingnan is yung remaining term of the lease. Bakit? First, yung muna, bakit book value? Kasi nga, yung leasehold improvements is subject for depreciation. So, every year, nagde-depreciate po yan. So, kapag na-terminate yung lease, di ba, sabihin natin, for example, 10 years yung lease term. Then, after 5th year, nagkaroon ng termination of the lease. Tapos, yung lease improvements, sabi dun sa kontrata, at the termination of the lease, all these improvements will automatically be owned by the lessor. So, di ba, ang remaining na lang is 5 years. Kasi yung 5 years, di ba, tapos na. So, kukuhain mo yung book value ng leasehold improvements. So, saka ita-transfer ng ownership yung leasehold improvements dun sa lessor. So, dapat kuhain mo yung book value. Ano ba yung book value? Book value is the cost less accumulated depreciation equals book value. So, yung accumulated depreciation is yung total depreciation from first year up to 5th year. Yung mga, yung mga taon na lumipas na. Diba? For my example, diba, 5 years yung lumipas na, so ang accumulated depreciation niya must be good for 5 years. Then, it must be deducted to the cost para makuha yung book value. Tama. So, yung book value, yung book value na yun na yung magiging taxable income. Wait lang. Okay, yun yung magiging value na nung leasehold improvements. Okay, tama. Then, i-divide nyo sa remaining term of the lease. So, every year, yun lang mag-report ng taxable income. Kaya tinawag na spread out method. Okay, next. Deduction of the lessee. The lessee may claim depreciation of the improvements over the remaining term of the lease or the life of improvements, whichever is shorter. So, kung sa point of view ni lessee, yung leasehold improvements niya can be considered as deductible expenses sa part niya. Oo. Most especially if the leasehold improvements, diba, dapat ginagamit sa business niya. So, ang titingnan patungkol dun sa depreciation niya, which is can be considered as allowable deduction, dapat shorter between the remaining term of the lease or the life of the improvements. Next, premature termination of the lease. Income to be reported by the lessor shall be computed as follows. So, the book value upon termination, or example ko kanina, for 10 years, di ba, na-terminate yung lease after 6 years. After 6 years. Tama. Then, inilist natin yung amount already reported as income. Which is, diba? Inilist yun sa book value upon termination. The less the amount already reported as income. So, makukuha mo is yung income in the year of pre-termination. So, mamaya, I'm going to give an example. Illustrate natin para mas lalo niyo maintindihan. So, taxable rent income of the lessor may in the form of first, cash received as a stipulated price, yung rent, the useful rent na binabayaran ni lessee. Obligations of the lessor to third persons paid or assumed by the lessee in consideration ng contract of the lease. So, usually, yung mga real property tax, ganyan, yung mga example niya. So, tapos in-assume o binayaran ni lessee, automatic na, it must be considered as additional rent expense yan ni lessee. So, sa part ni lessor, rent income yan. Next, advancement payment, which may be in the form of prepaid rent, reported in full in the year of receipt, and the security deposit that is applied to rental. So, here, pag may advance payment, yung prepaid rent niya, automatic na, reported in full in the year of receipt. So, kung kailan na-receive, yung payment na yan, yung advance payment, automatic na considered as taxable income in the year of receipt. And a security deposit that is applied to rental. Dapat yung security deposit, sabi dun sa kontrata, na yun ay pwedeng i-apply sa rental. So, considered as rent income siya. So, yung advance payment na security deposit included yan sa taxable income or considered as rent income yan in the year of receipt. Okay, next. Non-taxable rent income of the lessor may in the form of una, advance rentals representing option money. So, option money, diba? Usually, pag option money kasi, ibabalik yan. So, hindi siya considered as rent income. At the same time, Yung security deposit to ensure faithful performance of certain obligations of the lessee. Hindi rin yan taxable kasi nga meron niyang, what we call this, ito, may, ano yan, I forgot the term. Kasi yung security deposit niya is, kailangan munang ma-pay, may conditions muna, di ba? Bago considered as, yun nga, as good as rent income yan. So, yung security deposit na yan, hindi considered as rent income kasi nga, it's just good for ensuring faithful performance of certain obligations of the lessee. However, kapag hindi faithful yung performance ni lessee patungkol sa certain obligation, it may be considered as rent income. But it must be proven. Kapag hindi, ano siya taxable? Pero at the time na na-receive niya ang security deposit na yan, diba, hindi dapat yan gawing taxable. Okay. Magiging taxable yan kapag it is proven na magkaroon siya unfaithful performance. Pwede, valid yun. So, ito consider yun as rent income. Next, rental payments. Rent income shall be taxable on the year received, whether earned or unearned, provided there is no restriction as to its use and regardless of method of accounting employed. Tama. So here, as long as you already receive the income considered as rent, diba? The rent, diba? Rental payments considered as rental payments, automatic na considered yan as rent income, taxable yan, regardless po kung na-earned or unearned, regardless kung ano yung accounting na ginagamit mo, whether cash basis or accrual basis, as long as you already received that rental payments, and also it has no restriction as to its use, automatic na po. Consider yan as rent income. So, the security deposit shall be taxable if upon forfeiture in favor of the lessor or upon application as rental payment. So, yung security deposit, kahit na-receive mo niya, it cannot be considered as rent income if it has condition. Diba? As long as, diba, if it is not upon forfeiture in favor of the lessor or not upon application as rental payments, automatic na yan ay hindi po taxable. Next example. So here for our example, a lessor leased a lot to be lessee for 20 years beginning January 1, 2018, subject to the following terms and conditions. So lessee will pay rental 300,000 per month. Okay. Lessee will pay the real estate tax on the land of 100,000 a year. Okay. Lessee will construct a building on the lot to be owned by the lessor when the lease expires. So sabi nito, yung lease improvement na nag-construct ng building si lessor after the lease expires or at the expiration of this term, diba? Automatic na yung building is napupunta na kay lessor. Yan, kay lessor. Then the cost of building, let's consider this, July 1, 2020 for an amount of 28 million. So, matapos lang yung building is on July 1, 2020. Kailan ba yung nagsimula yung lease niya? January 1, 2018. Diyan po nagsimula yung lease term. January 1, 2018. So, may lumipas na 2 years and 6 months bago natapos yung building. Okay, consider po natin yan mamaya. So, required, compute the taxable income of A for 2020. Use spread out method of determining leasehold improvements. So, yun. Ito na, income of lessor A in 2020 using spread out method. So, here, spread out method, tama ba? Spread out method, So, let us first identify all of the income that needs to be considered taxable. So, first, yung rent. Diba? Magkano yung per month niya? 300,000. Tama? Times 12, magiging 36. Taxable income yan. Rent income yan. Tax paid by the lessee, yun yung real property tax nung lupa. Ang nagbayad po dapat, ang magbabayad po ng dapat si lessor. However, binayaran ni lessee. So, part yan as additional rental payment. So, sa part ni lessor, additional rent income yan. So, taxable po yan, 100,000 pesos. So, income on leasehold improvements. So, first, let us know first the book value at the end of the lease. Diba? So, the cost of building is 28 million. Tama. So, less depreciation for 17.5 years. Bakit 17.5 years? Bakit? Kasi nga, di ba, nagsimula yung lease term is January 1, 2018. Natapos yung building is yung July 1, 2020. So, ibig sabihin, magiging accumulated depreciation niya, di ba, at the end of this term is just for 17.5 years. So, yung 17.5 years na yun, yun yung remaining lease term. Remaining lease term from the time na natapos yung leasehold improvement. So, from July 1, 2020, diba, up to the last date, which is, tama ba, 2018? Ilang years ba? 20 years. So, 2018 plus 2020. So, 2038. So, from July 1, 2020 up to December 31, 2020, tama ba? 2038. Ilan yun? 17.5 years. So, yan yung remaining lease term after the completion of the leasehold improvements. So, usual na depreciation lang. So, 28 million. Diba? Ilan ba yung useful life nung leasehold improvements o nung building? 25 years yung useful life na. Mag-depreciate ka lang. So, 28 million divided by 25 years. So, every year, meron nag-depreciate siya na pagkano? Divided by 25. So, 28 million divided by 25. So, every year, nag-depreciate siya ng 1,120,000. So, ang hinahanap natin is book value of the building at the end of this term. Ulitin ko, kailan nga natapos yung building? July 1, 2020. Kailan ba nag-start yung, kailan ba matatapos yung lease? After 20 years, beginning January 1, 2018. So, January 1, 2018 up to the completion of building, July 1, 2020, diba? May 2.5 years na ang natapos. So, sakat, ang remaining lease term ang total lease term is 20 years. Diba? Kailan ba nagamit yung property? Noong July 1, 2020 pa, lumipas na yung 2.5 taon. So, ang remaining years lease term na lang niya is just for 17.5 years na lang. Yan na lang po yung remaining lease term niya. From the date na natapos yung leasehold improvements hanggang matapos yung lease term. So, 17.5. So, the usual depreciation, 28 million divided by the useful life of the leasehold improvements, 25 million, times the remaining lease term. Diba? From the date kung kailan po natapos at nagamit natapos yung leasehold improvements. So, 17.5. So, magiging accumulated depreciation niya is 19.6. So, the book value at the end of the lease term, is 8,400,000. So, here, in spread out method, you must always consider kung kailan po na tapos ng isang leasehold improvements. Kasi kung hindi mo kinonsider yan, malamang sa malamang, yung lease term na gagamitin mo dito is 20 years. Sakat after 2.5 years, dun lang natapos yung building from the beginning of the lease term. So, ibig sabihin, ines natin yung 2.5 years. Ang remaining lease term na lang po is 17.5 years. Tama. Okay. Sakat spread out method ito. Kung ito yung book value at the end of this, hindi po dapat i-consider as taxable income kaagad yan. Spread out method. So, every year, dun lang yan dapat gawing taxable income. Tama. So, kung book value at the end of this year is 8,400,000, so i-divide natin sa remaining lease term niya, which is 17.5. Tama. Sa 2020 ito, kailan ba natapos yung building? July 1, 2020. So, from July 1, 2020 up to December 31, 2020, 6 months lang po. 6 months lang po na gamit yung leasehold improvement. So, ibig sabihin, naka-realize ng income si lessor for just 6 months. No? Kasi consider mo kailan natapos yung leasehold improvements, tapos hanggang December 31 of the taxable year, diba? So, 6.5 lang po. So, magiging income from leasehold improvements is just only 240,000. Tama. However, the other income must be considered also. It is included in our taxable income. So, ang total income of the lessor in 2020 is 3,940,000. So, step by step tayo. So, in spread out method, diba, consider all of the rent income, mga additional income, diba? Then, at the same time, yung income on leasehold improvements, first, identify muna kung magkano yung total cost niya. Then, i-less mo yung accumulated depreciation niya. So, tingnan mo muna yung kung kailan natapos yung leasehold improvements. Diba? So, i-consider mo rin kung kailan nag-umpisa yung leasehold improvements. Tama. So, kung ano yung difference nung kung kailan nag-umpisa yung leasehold improvements tapos kung kailan natapos yung what you call this, kung kailan natapos yung leasehold improvements. Diba? Ima-minus mo yun, i-deduct mo yun sa total lease term para makuha mo yung remaining lease term. Kasi sa accumulated depreciation, ang kino-consider lang dyan is yung remaining lease terms. Tama. Then also, the usual depreciation lang. So, the cost of the leasehold improvement divided by the useful life of the leasehold improvements times the remaining lease term. Yan yung magiging accumulated depreciation mo. Diba? Bakit kailangan nating i-less yun? Kasi nga po, depreciated na siya for the remaining lease term. Kasi yung leasehold improvements na yun, ita-transfer lang yung ownership at the end of the lease term. Tama. Kung yung remaining lease term na yun, dapat kailangan ma-depreciate yung leasehold improvement na yun. So, dapat i-deduct na natin dun sa cost ng building. No? Para makuha natin book value, yung totoong value talaga ng leasehold improvements. Okay. Then, after getting the book value of the leasehold improvements at the end of the lease term, dahil spread out method po yan, so every year, nung lease term, diba, from the time na natapos yung leasehold improvement, nagawa na, diba, up to the end of the lease term, yan, every year, dun lang mag-realize ng income. So, dun na magiging taxable siya. Okay, next, deductible expense of lessee B for 2020. So, sa part po ni lessee, deductible po yan. Pwede i-consider as deductible as long as ginagamit yung property or yung building sa business. Pero for personal use, Hindi yan dapat i-consider as deductible expenses or as allowable deduction. Tama? So, the rent, yung binayang rental payment, 3.6, kasama yan, deductible expenses yan. Tax, 100,000, kasama yan as additional rental payment. Tama? Depreciation of leasehold improvement. So here, ang gagamitin po sa point of view ni lessee is yung yung lease term po. O yung lease term, which is 17.5. Bakit hindi yung useful life? Kasi nga po, yung sa kontrata nung nilang dalawa, sabi, yung leasehold improvements will be transferred to the lessor at the end of the lease term. Tama. So, ibig sabihin, hindi talaga sa kanya yun. Oo, siya lang nagpagawa, pero at the end of the lease term, ita-transfer na yung ownership kay lessor. So, kung na-construct yung building is July 1, 2018, so, July 1, 2020, so from July 1, 2020 up to end of the lease term, which is December 31, 2038, tama. So, ang lease term niya is 17.5 times 6.5. Bakit naging 6.5 ito? Part ulit ako. Kasi nga po, natapos na yung building is July 1, 2020. So, from July 1, 2020 up to December 31, 2020, 6 months na yung nakakaraan. So, yun na yung depreciation of leasehold improvements. So, a total amount of 800,000. So, ang deductible expenses ng lessee is yung lahat ng binayaran niya. So, and also the depreciation of leasehold improvements. So, 4.5. Okay, next, income of lessor A for the year. So, income of lessor in 2020. Ito pala, sorry. Income of lessor A for the year 2023. So, sabi doon, ito, number 3. Assume that due to the fault of B, the lease was terminated on January 1, 2023. Compute the income of A for the year 2023. Okay, so spread out method yan. Sabihan na spread out method yung ginamit. So, at the fault of lessee, natapos yung lease term. Diba? So, yung leasehold improvements na dapat i-transfer na yung ownership kay lessor. So, magkano yung income na magiging taxable? So, first let us identify the amount of cost of building, 28 million, less depreciation for 2.5 years. Bakit naging 2.5 years yan? Diba? Magbilang ka. So, kailan ba natapos yung leasehold improvements? July 1, 2020. Kailan ba na-terminate yung lease sa kagawa ni lessee? 2023. So, from July 1, 2020 up to December 31, 2023, meron niyang 2.5 years. Dapat i-depreciate natin yung building. Diba? Kasi nagamit po siya for 2.5 years. So, kuha natin depreciation. So, 28 million divided by the useful life. Kasi useful life ginamit dito sa point of view ni lessor. Kasi nga, upon the termination of the lease contract, diba? All of the leasehold improvements must be transferred to lessor. Kaya, pag-aari na niya from the start. So, 25 million useful life yung gagamitin natin. Times 2.5 years. So, ang sagot po, depreciation is 2.8. Tama. So, ang book value niya upon termination is 25,200,000. So, yung building, ang cost na po ng building ay worth of 25.2 million at the time na na-end yung lease contract. However, for the year 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, diba, nag-realize ka po hanggang 2022, tama, 2020, 21, 22, nagtatlong taon ka po, nag-realize na, 2.5 years, nag-realize ka po ng income. So, for 2020, na-compute na natin to that kanina sa taas. So, 240,000. Tama. So, for 2019, ang 2021 yan. So, 8,400,000, the book value of the leasehold improvements at the end of this term, divided by 17.5. Diba? Ito yung remaining lease term from the time natapos po yung leasehold improvements hanggang matapos yung lease contract. So, 480,000 kasi full year ito. Ito kasi half year lang. Bakit naging half year ito? Kasi nga, natapos yung building, July 1, 2020, doon ka lang mag-depreciate. Half year lang. Tama. Sa 2021, lahat buong year na po kasi buong year na yun. Tama. Ganun din sa 2022 ito, ganun din, 480. So, total na income already reported as taxable is 1.2. So, income lesser, for the year 2023, 24 million na pinag taxable. Okay, gets na. Dali lang ba? Parang nag-depreciate ka lang. So, income of lesser in 2020 using outright method. Kung outright method yan, automatic na all of the total cost of the leasehold improvement, diba, at the time na completion of that leasehold, natapos na yung pagko-construct ng leasehold improvement, i-add mo na yung sa rental, additional na binayaran ni lessee, less ito. Income of lessee hindi lessor. Tama? Income of lessor talaga yan. So, outright method, ginamit. So, lahat na. I-add mo na yung total cost ng leasehold improvements plus the other income batungkol dun sa parentahan. So, next, gross income from manufacturing, merchandising, or mining business. So, in manufacturing, merchandising, or mining business, gross income means total sales less cost of goods sold plus any income from investment and from incidental or outside operations or sources. So, here, when you say gross income, patungkol po sa mga businesses, usually, dapat, sa accounting, ang counterpart yan, other term niya is gross profit. Gross profit kasi niles na yung cost of goods sold. Okay. Then, plus any income from investment and from other incidental and outside operations or sources. So, yun yung gross income. Okay. Iba pa naman yung gross profit. Dito, kapag kasi term na gross income, lahat na ng income included. So, paano makuha yung net income? Ilas mo lang yung mga allowable deduction para makuha mo yung taxable income, which is usually business expenses, and determining the gross income, subtraction should not be made for depreciation, depletion, sale expenses, or losses for items not ordinarily used in computing the cost of goods sold. Tama. So, ito yung usual format of gross income and taxable income, which is also applicable sa mga businesses. No? Yan. Okay, next. Gross income from manufacturing, merchandising, or mining business. Naulit lang siya. Next, gross income from farming. The term farm embraces the farm in the ordinary accept sense and includes stock, dairy, poultry, fruit, and truck farms, also plantations, ranches, and all lands used for farming operations. So, ito yung format naman gross income for farming. So, pwede siya mag-report. Ito yung mga prescribed methods of reporting gross income from farming. Una, cash basis or receipt or disbursement basis. Accrual basis, crop basis. So, sa cash basis, no inventory is used to determine profits. So, walang inventory dyan kasi cash basis. Okay, next, accrual basis. Ang use method, ang inventory is used to determine profits. Tama. Next, crop basis. This method is used when a farmer is engaged in producing crops that take more than a year to gather and dispose of from time of planting. So, dito sa crop base, nakadepende dun sa haba ng from the time na tinanim mo hanggang sa i-gather mo na yung mga from products mo o yung crop. Yan yung crop basis. So, usual accounting na siya. Kapag cash method, walang inventory. So, wala ito. So, usual na kasi sa products are raised in the farm, 4.5, kasi binabenta na yung cash basis, sales of stock, ganun din, kasi nabenta na siya, gain on sale of farm equipment, ganun din, part yan ng cash basis, rent income from equipment, cash basis yan. So, i-total nyo lang ito. Yan. Ang total niya is yan na yung tama ba? So, mali ako dito. Mali lang yung addition dito. Dapat to 417,000. Kulang na 0 lang. Dapat dito ay 8,220,000. Ganun lang. So, sa accrual method naman, ang inventory makaka-apekto. Okay. Okay, here, the accrual method of accounting for farming is inventory of, ending inventory plus the other sales from products, livestock, diba? Less may beginning inventory, 20,000, 250,000, diba? So, ang net income is 7,740,000. So, what if, dapat beginning inventory less wait lang. So, yan. Susundin nyo lang yung format. Okay? So, status of dividend income. So, dividends from within. So, dividend income from domestic corporation, within yan. Kasi, ang nag-issue is domestic corporation. So, dividend income from foreign corporation. If at least 50% of gross income for the 3-year period ending with the close of its taxable year preceding the declaration of such dividends was derived from sources within the Philippines. So here, di ba, ang nag-issue po is foreign corporation ng dividend income. So, kung wala namang sa problem, kung wala namang binigay na mga gross income prior to the declaration of dividend income by the foreign corporation, considered yung dividend income na yun ay without the Philippines. So, kasi hindi mo naman siya pwedeng gamitin yung ruling na ito kasi nga, the number one requirements ito, dapat merong 3-year, the gross income for 3 years prior to the declaration of such dividends. So, yun. So, kapag silent, walang binigay na ganun, automatic na yun ay without the Philippines. Income derived from abroad yun. Okay. So, what if, yun nga, binigay sa problem yung 3-year period before the declaration, 3-year gross income before declaration of that's dividends. Automatic na, i-add mo yung gross income within and in abroad. Tama, yun yung magiging denominator. So, ang magiging numerator mo is gross income within the Philippines. So, if the gross income in the Philippines is the ratio is 50% or more, automatic na considered as as gross income derived within the Philippines. Within the Philippines yun. Pero hindi yung 100% the whole amount of that dividends that was issued by a foreign corporation. Hindi po yung whole amount. Kung ilan po yung complete mo na percentage, dapat ang range na is 50%, from 50% and above. Diba? 50% and above, yun yung range ng ratio, yung percentage. Then, i-multiply mo yung dividend income na in-issue ng foreign corporation. So, kapag less than 50, kapag 49%, there are no need to multiply the ratio to the dividend income. Kasi nga, the whole amount is already considered as dividend income derived outside the Philippines. Okay, understood. So, dividends without. So, dividend income from foreign corporation. Kapag silent, ang problem, automatic na siya ay outside the Philippines yung income niya, yung dividend income niya. So, here, if dividend income from foreign corporation. So, kapag yung numerator is yung gross income for the 3 period that is earned derived from outside the Philippines, divided by the gross income world. Diba? Kapag ang nakuha mong percentage is below 50%, automatic na the whole amount is considered as dividend income outside the Philippines. Okay. Next, partly within and partly without. Ito niyo yun, tinutukoy ko kanina. So, pag yung sources of issue is domestic corporation, income is purely from the Philippine sources. No doubt, unquestionable naman yan. Kasi nga, domestic corporation yan. O mga Philippine corporation yan. So, income, yung dividend income na in-issue ng domestic corporation, income that is purely derived from the Philippine sources. Okay, so pag foreign corporation, ito yung ratio na sinasabi ko nila. Gross income. Yung gross income dito, tinutukoy is yung 3-year period before the declaration of dividends. I-add nyo yun. Dapat for Philippines na muna. Then, i-add nyo yung total lahat. Abroad and Philippines, magiging gross income world. Then, after, if in this, if you get a percentage of below 50%, diba, 49 and below, it is the dividend income that is issued by the foreign corporation is considered as the dividend income that is derived from outside the Philippines. Pero kapag ang na-compute mo dito is 50% and above, diba? It is considered as income or dividend income derived within the Philippines. However, hindi siya yung 100%. Diba? Hindi. Kung ilan yung na-compute mong percentage, doon may imumultiply yung dividend. O yung dividend income. Then yung dividend income that is derived from within the Philippines. Then yung excess, yung dividends derived or dividend income derived from outside the Philippines. Okay, pero kapag na-compute mo dito is below 50%, automatic na the 100% of that dividend income is considered as outside the Philippines. So, illustration natin. So, a corporation is a non-resident foreign corporation. So, sa corporation po, may tatlong uri ng corporation. So, domestic corporation, resident foreign corporation, and non-resident foreign corporation. So, based from this example, so, okay. Sabi dito, nag-issue daw ng dividend, 500,000. Na-receive niya dividend income from B, a domestic corporation. Tama. Wait lang. Okay, tama. So, yan. So, yun nga. Na-receive ni non-resident foreign corporation yung dividend income kay B, domestic corporation. So, dapat malaman natin, ay, mali. Mali itong problem. Dapat, A corporation, so, mali ito, hindi dapat ito domestic corporation. Dapat ito ay, pabago na lang po. Dapat ito ay foreign corporation. So, the said corporation received a 500,000 dividend income from B, a non-resident foreign corporation also. So, ang naka-receive is, ang nag-issue is a non-resident foreign corporation. Pabago na po yan. Yan. Typo. So, ang naka-receive po is also a non-resident foreign corporation. So, kapag non-resident foreign corporation ka, tinatax ka lang is within the Philippines. Diba? Within the Philippines lang. So, sakat dividend income ito. Diba? So, dapat makonsider natin kung yung portion ba na 500,000 is derived ba from sources outside the Philippines or inside the Philippines. So, ito dapat ay non-resident foreign corporation. Okay. So, in order for us to know if this dividend income is derived from outside or within the Philippines, diba? Sabi doon sa formula or doon sa kanina, dapat yung the gross income of the 3-year period before the declaration of dividends, which is ito. Consider mo lang ito. Itong 2017 up to 29. The rest, itong 2020, hindi mo consider yan. Para makuha yung percentage. Okay? Okay, yung ratio daw. So, the gross income Philippines divided by the gross income world times dividend income. Diba? Dapat, kasi nga, yung dividend income is in-issue ni non-resident foreign corporation at tapos ang naka-receive is also a non-resident foreign corporation. Dapat malaman natin na yung dividend income na applicable from sources within the Philippines and from sources within the Philippines lang. Kasi nga, tinataksan ang non-resident foreign corporation is within the Philippines lang. Tama. So, Philippines is total mo lang 3-year prior period. Ito na yun. So, nag-declare ba, diba, 2020? So, count ka lang ng 2019, 2018, 2017. Yan yung dapat i-consider mong gross income regarding sa percentage ito. Okay. So, after, di ba, nakuha mo na yung total ng gross income Philippines, ito yon. Gross income abroad, ito yon. Tapos, gross income abroad, ito yon. So, based from the formula, gross income world ay Philippines divided by gross income world equals percentage. So, here, from the first example natin, diba? So, 600,000 divided by 1,500,000. 40% po yung percentage niya na patungkol sa Philippines. So, ibig sabihin, yung dividend income na receive yung non-resident foreign corporations is isa pang non-resident foreign corporation. Diba? Yung dividend income na yun, yung income from sources within is just only 40%. So, how much is the dividend income? 500,000. So, 500,000 sakat, diba, dun sa rule natin, kapag below 50%, diba, yung percentage, yung gross income, Philippines divided by gross income world, pag below 50%, automatic na, lahat ng dividend income na yun is derived from sources outside the Philippines. So, entirely derived from sources outside the Philippines, yung 500,000. So, hindi dapat siya i-include sa taxable income ni non-resident foreign corporation. Kasi nga po, tinataksan lang ang non-resident foreign corporation within the Philippines. Sakat, based from sa ratio natin, di ba, 40%, so below 50% siya, automatic na the whole amount of dividend income will be considered as income or dividend income derived from outside the Philippines. Okay, so hindi siya kasama as taxable income ni non-resident foreign corporation. So, okay, next. Taxable income niya. So, sa problem, gamagamit mo na yung year 2020. So, the gross income for the year 2020 is 300,000 pesos. And yung dividend income, wala kang ilalagay dito kasi nga, ano yan, sources, yung dividend income na na-compute natin is na-receive kay non-resident foreign corporation is, ang ratio po niya is 40%. So, below 50% po siya. Dapat, hindi natin isama siya gross income. So, ang total gross income niya is just only 300,000. Just allowable deduction, pwede rin siya mag-claim ng business expense. Tama? Ay, sorry, mali na naman po. Time for error. So, kasi ang non-resident foreign corporation, hindi po siya pwedeng mag-avail ng allowable deduction. So, sa problem, para ito yung maging tama itong sagot, dapat ano siya, resident foreign, ang nag-issue is non-resident foreign corporation loaded. Tapos, yung nakatanggap is resident foreign corporation. So, let's assume na resident foreign corporation yung kanina. So, here, pwede siya mag-avail ng business expense. Kasi pag non-resident foreign corporation, wala siyang allowable deduction. So, based sa problem natin, non-resident foreign corporation yung taxpayer. So, ito lang. Total gross income, 300,000. Tama. So, tanggalin na natin ito. Times 30. Ang sagot po dito is 90,000. Opo, 90,000 po yan, hindi yan 30,000. Pero, kung yun, Kasi nga, ang non-resident foreign corporation, bawal po mag-avail ng allowable deduction. O, ang tax cost yun. So, ito ay point of view to ni resident foreign corporation. As a part na sa problem, non-resident foreign corporation, so ang tamang sagot is 90,000. So, final withholding tax payable na 90,000, hindi po 30,000. Kasi bawal siya mag-avail ng allowable deduction. Okay. So here, the next illustration po, pinagkaiba lang niya is yung ratio niya is ganda yung proseso, pero ang naging ratio niya na complete natin is 60%, which is above 50%. So, yung 60% po considered as income that is derived within the Philippines. So, how much is the dividend income na na-receive ni non-resident foreign corporation? 60% po. So, 60% times 500,000, ang taxable po or taxable dividend income kasi within the Philippines is 300,000. Tama. Yung 40% ng 500,000 na 200,000 pesos is outside the Philippines, which is not included sa gross income in non-resident foreign corporation. So, the dividend income that is entirely derived from sources outside of the Philippines. So, that's earlier 200,000. So, the taxable dividend income is 300,000. Pwede ulit siya. 300,000 na. So, tax payable po niya, na mali po ako dito, hindi siya pwede mag-avail ng allowable deduction kasi non-resident foreign corporation siya. So, diretso na. So, ang gross income, sa given naman niya, 300,000. Yung dividend income within the Philippines, so 60%, yung sa ratio natin times the na-receive na dividend income, so 300,000 lang po i-consider natin as taxable income. Ang total gross income niya, 600,000. So, 600,000 pesos times diretso na tayong 30%, ang sagot is 180,000. Final withholding tax payable po yun. Na 180,000, hindi po 120. Kasi ang non-resident foreign corporation, inulit ko po, hindi siya pwede mag-avail ng allowable deduction. So, gross income times 30%. Yun yung formula na kapag non-resident foreign corporation. Okay, receipt of dividends. Dividend mean receipt of dividends. Dividends mean any distribution made by a corporation to its shareholders out of its earnings or profits and payable to its shareholders, whether in money or in other property. So, the more common forms of dividends are cash dividend. So, this was a corporation to, no? So, cash dividend is a form of dividend which is paid in cash to shareholders. The income is measured by the amount of cash received. Cash dividend shall be taxable upon declaration. So, yung cash dividends lang, once na-declare na ng corporation sa shareholders niya, automatic na considered as taxable dividend income na siya. Or regardless kung kailan na-issue, as long as dineclare na, automatic na taxable na po yun. Okay. So, the stock dividend is a distribution by a corporation to its shareholders of the corporation's own stock. A stock dividend representing the transfer of the surplus to the capital account shall not be subject to tax. Distribution of stock dividend is not taxable because they are not realized income. Ang general rule ng stock dividend po, hindi siya taxable. However, if the shares are later redeemed for consideration by the corporation or otherwise conveyed by the taxholder to the extent of such consideration. So, kapag na-redeem na yan, yung stock dividend na-redeem na ng corporation, automatic na dapat maging siyang taxable. Okay, next, the receipt is other than a stockholder. So, kapag ang nakatanggap, ibang tao, hindi stockholder, automatic na yung stock dividend na yun is taxable. Next, what if kung nakatanggap naman is yung mismong stockholder ng company, as long as there is No change in the stockholders' equity results by a virtue of stock dividend issuance. So, kapag nagkaroon ng change in the stockholders' equity, di ba? I mean, yung certain portion nila or certain shares nila, yung percentage ng shares nila is nagbago patungkol dun sa stock, pagkatungkol dun sa declaration of stock dividend, automatic na yun po ay magiging taxable na. A stock dividend constitutes income if it gives shareholder an interest different from that which is former stock holdings represented. So, bakit naging taxable yung stock dividend? Kasi nga nagkaroon na ng change dun sa percentage of share nila sa company. Like for example, after na nag-issue ng stock dividend from 1%, tumaas yung percentage niya, yung shares niya, naging 2%. So, nagkaroon siya ng gain. Diba? So, automatic na dapat yun ay maging taxable. Yung difference, I mean, yung stock dividend na na-issue must be taxable. Ano yung amount na gagamitin? Ang gagamitin na amount or price is at the date of declaration. Kung kailan na-declare yung stock dividends. Doon yung gagamitin is yung declaration date. I mean yung price at the date of declaration. When stockholder receives stock dividend, which is taxable income, the measure of income is a fair market value of stock received. So, ang di pala at the time of declaration, dapat ang gagamitin na price is yung fair market value at the time of declaration. So, yun. So here, for our illustration, diba, A, B, C, D, and E are the stockholders of A, B, C, D, E Corporation. Each of them owns 10,000 shares of stock. During the year, the total corporation declared 10% common stock dividend. First question, are the stock dividends taxable to the shareholders? No. Bakit? Diba? Based from that scenario, ito yung magiging computation niya. So, yung proportionate share niya dun sa company patungkol dun sa stocks niya after the declaration of stock dividend, diba, is the same, hindi mo nagbago. Diba? Before the stock dividend declaration, ang proportionate share ng lahat ng shareholders is 20%, tama. After the stock dividend, naging 20% pa rin. So, the same, constant siya. So, there's no need for including the stock dividend in taxable gross income. Kasi wala naman nagbago. Di man talaga sila nag-benefit. Kasi yung proportionate share nila is almost the same. Lumaki lang yung shares nila. But the proportionate share is the same. So how about if the corporation gave the stockholders an option to choose between property dividends and stock dividends? Diba? Then A, C, and E choose to be paid in property dividend. So, automatic na magbabago na yan. So, kung nagbago yung proportionate share nila, diba, sa company, patungkol dun sa shares nila, automatic na taxable. O yung stock dividend na in-issue is taxable. Okay. So, dito sa illustration natin, as you can see, diba, CB lang yung stock dividend, CB lang yung stock dividend. So, the rest, property dividend. Tama. So, sa shares nila, hindi man nagbabago yan. Kasi pang ginamit nila, ang in-avail nila is property dividend. Diba? Walang epekto yun sa shares. Pero si B, ang pinili niya stock dividend, lumagdag. Lumagdag. So, mali ito. Dapat ito, 2,000. 2,000 yan. Sorry. Kasi 10,000 times 20, dapat 2,000 yan. So, dapat to 12,000 to. 12,000 yan. Ganon din ito, 12,000. So, dapat ito magiging 54,000. Tama. Pero yung proportionate share niya is 12,000. Oh, ay mali. Oh, mali ako. Dapat to, 10% yan. Oh, tama. Declared 10% common stock dividend. So, dapat 10% to. Ito 10%. Mali yan. Ito dapat ay 10% yan. Sa dividend kasi natin 10%. Ako 20. So, after the dividend, magiging 11,000 siya kasi 10,000 times 10% na mali ito, dapat 1,000. So, 11,000. So, as you can see, after the declaration of stock dividend, the proportionate share, diba, nagbago. Tama. So, yung mga tumaas lang yung proportionate share, yun lang dapat yung taksan. Kasi sila yung nag-avail ng stock dividend. Tama pa to, stock dividend sila yung dapat taksan. So, yung 1,000 stock dividend, diba, i-multiply yan lang yan sa the fair market value of the shares at the date of declaration. Tama. At the date of declaration pala. So, dapat... Okay. So, sabihin natin, fair market value niya at the date of declaration is 2,000 pesos. So, 1,000 times 2 pesos. So, 2,000. So, yung 2,000 pesos na yun, ang value ng stock dividend na receive niya must be considered as taxable income. Included po sa taxable gross income. Okay, kapag property dividend naman, di ba? Dito, dapat property dividend shall be taxable upon declaration. Once na-declare na siya, dapat taxable na po siya. So, the fair market value of the property received at the time of receipt or distribution. Okay. So, our distribution. Tama. So, dito sa property dividend, dapat kung magkano yung fair market value at the time of declaration ng property dividend, dapat yung amount na dapat included sa gross income or taxable income. Okay, so liquidating dividends are exempt up to the extent of the cost of investment being a mere return of capital. However, anything in excess of the cost shall be considered income and therefore taxable. Tama. The amount received by the stockholder in liquidation is less than the cost of investment. The loss in the transaction is deductible to the extent allowed on the capital losses. Okay, tama. So, intercorporate dividends na tayo. There is an intercorporate dividend when a dividend is declared by one corporation and received by another corporation which is a stockholder to the former. Tama. So, pag intercorporate dividends, ang nag-issue is a corporation and yung naka-receive is corporation. So, intercorporate dividend siya. In case there is an intercorporate dividend, the following rules shall apply for taxation purposes. So, first, dividend received by a domestic corporation from another corporation shall not be subject to tax. Tama, exempted po siya. Kapag yung dividends na yon is inisyo ni domestic corporation, tapos ang receive domestic corporation, automatic na it must not be considered as taxable. Next, dividend received by a resident foreign corporation from a domestic corporation shall not be subject to income tax. Tama. So, kapag ang nag-issue is resident foreign corporation, okay, tapos ang naka-receive domestic corporation, automatic na hindi po siya taxable. Okay. So, para mas maintindihan mo natin, dito tayo sa table. Ayan. So, what if daw, if the dividends issued by domestic corporation, tapos ang naka-receive is domestic corporation, so not taxable yan. Next, kasi intercorporate dividend yan. O considers as intercorporate dividend na usually ano yan, internal transaction yan. So, hindi na dapat yung taxable. Yung dividend income na in-issue at ni-receive ng corporation, ng initially domestic corporation tapos ni-receive ng domestic corporation. Ganon din kay ang nag-issue domestic corporation, ang naka-receive resident foreign corporation, hindi rin siya taxable kasi intercorporate dividend siya. Internal transaction yan. Intercompany transactions, I mean. So next, dividends received and dividend issued by domestic corporation, dividend received by non-resident foreign corporation. So here, ang general rule, 30% final withholding tax. Bakit hindi dapat considered as okay, tama. Bakit naging 30% siya? Kasi ang naka-receive po ng dividends is non-resident foreign corporation. So, di ba, ang non-resident foreign corporation nasa ibang bansa yan. Tama, nasa ibang bansa. So, di ba, ang tax rate niya is 30%. Bakit final withholding tax? Kasi nga po, dapat ang mag-withhold niyan ay si, dito, based from the table, is si domestic corporation, which is 30% final withholding tax. Oo. Kasi nga, si non-resident foreign corporation, nag-ooperate yan sa ibang bansa, hindi naman na makakapag-file ng income tax return dito sa Pilipinas. So, dapat, wini-withhold yan ng domestic corporation. So, like for example, ang dividend income na in-issue ng domestic corporation, tapos na-receive ni non-resident foreign corporation is 100,000 pesos. So, 100,000 pesos times 30%, ang final withholding tax, yun yung final payment niya for all taxes, diba? For all taxes in that subject, which is dividend income. So, 30%. So, 100,000 times 30%. Magkano? 30,000 pesos. So, yun yung final withholding tax or final tax. So, yung 30,000 na yun, i-withhold ni domestic corporation. So, ibig sabihin, ang matatanggap ni non-resident foreign corporation is just only the net amount, which is 70,000. Kasi, yung 30,000, ililimit yan ni domestic corporation kay BAR. So, exception, magiging 15% siya if there is a tax sparing credit. So, magiging 15% siya kapag mas mababa sa 30% yung binibigay ng ibang bansa. Kung nasa, ito, non-resident foreign corporation, sabihin natin sa US siya. US siya na-create yung corporation na yan. So, sabihin natin sa US, patungkol dun sa ganitong transaction, kaparehong transaction, meron silang 20% final withholding tax na tax rate. Tapos, yung Philippine corporation, di ba? Ito kasi kabalik rin point of view na kasi sa US. Diba? Let's assume sa US naman. So, yun. So, sabi natin, meron siyang, pagpatungkol sa ganitong business transaction, merong 20% tax. So, dapat, ang ibibigay ng Philippine government is what tax rates? Di yung 15%. Kasi nga, hindi pwedeng gamitin yung 30% kasi nga, sa bansa nila, sa patungkol sa ganitong transaction, ang tax rate nila is 20%. So, dapat hindi tayo pwedeng tumaas sa 20%. It's either 30% or 15% lang. Sakat mas mababa sa 30% yung tax rates sa ibang bansa patungkol sa ganitong transaction. So, dapat ang ipa-avail natin na tax rate dun sa non-resident foreign corporation na yun, na galing sa US, is 15%. O, yan yung tax-bearing credit. Okay. So, dividends issued by resident foreign corporation. So, ang naka-receive po ng dividends is domestic corporation. Automatic na, 30% normal income tax. Yeah. Bakit naging 30% ito? Tama. So, bakit naging 30% normal income tax yan? Diba? Kasi, ang nag-issue is resident foreign corporation. Okay, so, ang naka-receive, domestic corporation. So, yung dividend na na-receive ng domestic corporation, siya sa resident foreign corporation, automatic na taxable siya. So, included po yan sa gross income ni domestic corporation as dividend income. So, part yun ng 30%. Kasi ang tax rate po ng corporation, ng domestic corporation is 30%. Tama. Okay, next. Dividends issued by resident foreign corporation. Tapos, ang naka-receive po is foreign corporation. So, hindi siya taxable. Bakit hindi siya taxable? Sino ba yung naka-receive? Foreign corporation. Paano ba tinataksa ng foreign corporation within the Philippines? Sakat, sino nag-issue ng dividends? Resident foreign corporation. So, hindi siya taxable. Kasi silent siya. Kasi diba, pag foreign corporation kasi gagamitin natin yung ratio natin, yung gross income Philippines divided by gross income world times dividend income, on which the gross income is based on the 3-year period before the declaration of dividends. Tama. So, silent naman dito, kapag silent yung problem, automatic na. Yun ay na-receive, yun ay dividend income that is derived from outside the Philippines. Sakat inside dapat within the Philippines para maging tax. Sakat silent ito, automatic na considered as outside the Philippines. So, not taxable siya. Okay, so non-resident foreign corporation. So, ang nag-issue is non-resident foreign corporation. Ang nag-receive is domestic corporation. Ano yan? Automatic. Diba? Paano nga tinataksa ang domestic corporation? Within and without the Philippines. So, yung dividend na na-receive niya kay non-resident foreign corporation, automatic na included siya sa gross income. Diba? So, times 30%. part ng gross income, dividend income. Taxable gross income, included siya. So, next, ang nag-issue is non-resident foreign corporation. Ang naka-receive is foreign corporation. Paano nga tinatakso ng foreign corporation? Without the Philippines or outside the Philippines. Ay, tama ba? Hindi, sorry, within the Philippines or inside the Philippines. So, lahat ng income na ayun na dapat within the Philippines lang. Isakat, ang nag-issue ng dividends is non-resident foreign corporation. Tapos, silent pa yung problem, hindi mo pwede i-apply yung ratio natin. Diba? So, automatic na lahat ng dividend income na in-issue ni non-resident foreign corporation yan ay outside the Philippines. So, hindi siya taxable. Hindi siya included sa gross income ni foreign corporation. Kasi sa foreign corporation, dapat all income must be derived within the Philippines. Sakat yung dividend na in-issue ni non-resident foreign corporation considered as outside the Philippines. Okay. So, tax informer's reward. An amount equivalent to 10% but exceeding 1 million of the revenues, surcharges, or fees recovered and or fine or penalty imposed and collected shall be given a reward to persons instrumental in discovery of violations of the provisions of the Internal Revenue Laws. So, passive income po ito. Tama. However, the following are disqualified to avail the informer's reward. Una, bearer, official, or employee, or any other incumbent public official or employee. Next, relative within 6 civil degree of consanguinity of a bearer, official, or employee, or other public official or employee. And though already retired or otherwise separated from service, bearer officials or employees or other public officials who acquired the information in the course of the performance of their duties during their incumbency. So ito, a final withholding tax at a rate of 10% shall be imposed on rewards collected from persons who give definite and sworn information leading to discovery of frauds, revenues, and fees, or discovery and the seizure of smuggled goods or which resulted to the conviction of the guilty party or the imposition of fine or penalty or a compromise has been reached.